from West Winfield or Richfield Springs through the Mohawk River communities of Herkimer and Little Falls to Dolgeville and Middleville. You will see more and more colors on the country roads around Newport and Poland, topping off with Old Forge in the Adirondacks. New York's tallest county is built for your autumn tour. Herkimer County, I love New York.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Jovanone with Dental Arts. Our busy dental practice is currently looking to fill several full-time positions in our Utica office. We're seeking dedicated, experienced dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. We offer a competitive benefits package and the opportunity to elevate your career. Compensation is experience-based, but paid training is available. If you are reliable and enjoy working with people, we'd love to talk to you. We're seeking dedicated dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. Apply today on Facebook or at dentalarts.org. That's dentalarts.org. Dental Arts, we are looking for your help to create masterpieces, one smile at a time.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
I'm William Mattar. Big truck crashes often result in serious injuries or death. After a big truck crash, call William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a serious truck crash, call us right away so our immediate response team can preserve evidence while you focus on your family. Truck crash? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse.
Happy holidays.
Before you know it, the holidays will be here. Family and friends will be stopping by.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Carpeting provides warmth and comfort unlike any other flooring.
And now you get up to 30% off select carpeting at Sarah's.
Plus, Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
You want to shop where the selection is second to none, where the prices are the best, and where the service is great.
Get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% at Sarah's.
Sarah's Flooring Outlet, where a specialist will always take care of your project from start to finish.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
See why more people buy from the big store. In the Route 49 Plaza on River Road, Marcy, and online at insarasflooringoutlet.com.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950. and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, wow, what a night, and it's really not over as of yet. In some cases, we don't know results. Might even be, could very well be well into December before we find out because of Georgia. There may very well be a runoff down there to slow everything down. But let's start with the Powerball jackpot. Crazy that they did not draw 2 nights ago.
Right.
Then yesterday at around, 10 o'clock, they finally drew the numbers, and there was one lone winner. It grew to over $2 billion, $2.04 billion. So basically $2 billion, and one winning ticket was sold in California at Joe's Service Center. Apparently, not only does the winning ticket get money, but so does the store that sells the winning ticket. This guy came out right off the bat. The owner of the store was excited because I believe he got $1 million out of this whole thing. And somewhere I have audio. Is it playing? Is it not? It's not. Either way, a big victory for this guy named Joe. He won $1 million.
Well, good for Joe.
But the other person, whoever bought the ticket, one single ticket, won $1 billion.
Well, I think just like the Democrats stole the election 2 years ago, I think someone stole the Powerball. Because didn't they initially say nobody won? First of all, they very abruptly came out and did the drawing, and I'm kidding about the stealing the election thing. But then they said there was one winner in California, after I thought they said there wasn't any winners. So
no, they didn't say there weren't any winners. Here's what they said. Yesterday morning when we started with the news, the headline was there was no winner last night in the Powerball. And then the addendum to that is because they didn't do the drawing. So the drawing didn't happen until 10 o'clock, 10:15, something like that. Once they did the drawing, then it was the question, is there a winner out there? And it turns out there was only one winner. It would have gone to probably close to $2.5 billion.
It's incredible.
Had there not been a winner.
That is incredible.
And you know what? Ridiculous. I wouldn't play that. It's only, let's see, what's it up? What's it start back at? There's another drawing tonight. You realize that?
Yeah. Peanuts.
Peanuts. Who would play for $20 million? I mean, give me a break.
Broke people. Out there in the parking lot picking up pennies.
Yeah. They call that new money, Manaski. It's new money. Oh, Lordy. Okay. What happened last night is exactly what we were ridiculed for saying. Do you recall? I don't want to come in here today and say, I told you so. But isn't this exactly what we talked about this week? That don't be surprised if it isn't such a huge red wave, that this is much tighter than everybody thinks, and that President Trump plays a role. There's nobody that gets out the vote, Democrats, any better than Donald Trump. Yeah. Nobody. You said this 2 days ago.
Yes, and I was verified by Chuck Todd blurted it out last night during the national coverage. It's right.
True. It's
true.
And
I know Republicans are getting upset now, but I'm just saying, if you want to win, find another guy.
The other thing that was a big part, depending on the state that you're in, was Roe v. Wade. And as we said, I don't know that it's going to change necessarily the outcome. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen in the Senate. Most likely, the House will be controlled by Republicans. But it's tight, and I don't think it would be tight. I would not be close if two things didn't happen. If the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision didn't happen, and if President Trump wasn't so vocal in the campaigning, what does this do for his announcement? Because he's saying a big announcement is coming, and does this change his announcement a little bit? Take away some of the thunder? I don't know.
I think that it might. I'll also say there was some pontificating on why was he delaying until after the election. He wanted to wait a little bit because if there was a big loss, he could say, or the argument could be made that he had something to do with it. I think he can make that argument anyway. I really do.
Okay, so we'll get to that. Locally, we can now talk about some of the races. I was involved in a few, and it really reserved my opinion on a couple of these things, but I think we can talk about them frankly now. Let's start with the sheriff's race. A huge victory for Sheriff Rob Mashel.
Yeah, hands down, he defeated challenger Jim Scarchilli. I'm looking for the percentage here, but I think it was like
70-30, over 70-30.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's a big win.
I think the only bigger difference was the race for county clerk.
Mary Ann Finnegan.
60-30. Mary Finnegan.
Mary Finnegan, sorry, which I handled that race. Those commercials. When I say I handle the race, I do the commercials. I'm not a strategist by any means. I don't sit in there and go into the meetings. I just create commercials. So that was one of the races, Mary Finnegan, and I think that her decision to stay positive and not get into the fighting back and forth was the right decision, because her opponent's decision to take on Tony Pacenti and not the county clerk's race, I think that was a big miscalculation.
Yeah, look, from a strategy standpoint, I'm sure there were some people who agreed with her messaging and were like, yeah, that's right.
There are some people that don't like Tony Pacenti.
Right.
But that number is far smaller than those people think.
I think that's true, Bill. And I think if you look at when he is challenged, when there's an election and that seat is up, he wins hands down.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of support for him. I'll also say on the county clerk's race, look, I give Smagic Oren a lot of credit. She's an attorney. She's a lawyer, right? I'm not knocking her at all. But she was making
self-created, the whole 9 yards, right? That is all stuff you should be very proud of.
But she was almost mocking Finnegan for being a clerk. Oh, you hand out dog licenses and parking passes.
Well, that is part of the job.
I know. And in one of her spots, she mentioned, did she say I took a case to the Supreme Court or I've argued in front of the Supreme Court? Again, kudos. That's awesome. But you're not going to be doing that as county clerk.
I think she was talking about the Oneida County Supreme Court. However, the local Supreme Court. However, still, that's really not going to be your role. And I think that, I feel like the word that could have been removed from those commercials that she did, and by the way, she spent a lot of money on radio. No TV, it was all radio, which I think is the brilliant move, by the way. Spend all your money on radio. What are you thinking? But I think that
I appreciate your honesty.
I think that I do think that I did this and I did that, and Pacenti reopened the DMV in Rome because I forced him to do it. I think the average person looked at that and was like, "That's just not true." It wasn't true, and it took away. I mean, when you're now, instead of battling your opponent, she ended up battling Tony Pacenti and the entire county legislature. Mm-hmm. She, in her commercials, ripped on the legislature. How many members of the United County Legislature are there?
I think it's 26.
How 23. Many of them are Republican?
At least 16. Yeah.
So you've got 16 members of the county legislature in Pacenti that you're now taking to task, and you're going to put them in place. That's not a great way to start out your campaign. I just think that was a strategic mistake.
And not to mention, to follow up on that point, 17 people who all say, "Look, we had nothing to do with it.
Had nothing to do with it,
and we didn't want this,
and wanted it open." Yeah. So now take that, and I think Mary Finnegan was a very good candidate. She's experienced. She's done the job. She's done the job for 17 years in Whitestown. So you put all of that together, and Mary Finnegan with a landslide win.
So it broke down to 70-30, and I misspoke because I thought that was a bigger margin of difference. But actually, Rob Mashel 80-20 over Jim Scarchilli. That was significant.
with a huge win, and Brian Miller with a big win, and so the delay occurred. And Brian, I worked with Brian since he started running in the assembly. The delay came. It had Brian down all night long on TV. So if you're and on the Oneida County, which by the way was always the best website, Oneida County's Board of Elections website, tallying up the numbers, always has traditionally been the best one. The results came out. They came out quickly. Nothing came out last night. I waited for as long as I could wait, and finally just went to bed.
Yeah, I think it was about 11:30, 20 to midnight, when I kind of dozed off with my face in the laptop, looking for results. But yeah, there was obviously some real delays there. I reached out to the Board of Elections twice each week leading up to the election because I wanted to talk to them, and I knew there was a change in the procedure. Maybe we can talk about that a bit, because I'd like to know what people thought about that.
I don't know. Did this happen in Madison County and in Herkimer County? Did we go to an iPad everywhere statewide? Is that what happened?
That's a great question. I'd love to hear from.
Or was it just Oneida County?
I'd love to hear from somebody in Herkimer County or Madison County. So what happened this year, and I know this obviously in Oneida County, you went in, you told them your name, your address, and then they had a tablet, which you signed the tablet. Typically, you would sign the book. You signed the tablet, they would look at the signatures, compare the signatures, and then there was 2 poll watchers that both had to sign off on it. Now, that process took a little longer than typically just going in and signing in, but not significant. It wasn't, I didn't think, significant. But then they would print your ballot, and then you had to go over and put the ballot through. I don't know. To be honest, I don't think that led to the delay in the reporting of results last night. Maybe it did, but
I think in some cases it did. I heard from some people who their name wasn't popping up. So, or in my case, when I signed my name, when I started to sign, and it was nice because you could easily erase what I had written. When I signed my name, I signed under my son's name, and I'm like, whoa, I just signed the wrong
box.
Well, it was all on one screen. Unlike before, where you'd see a list of names and you could point out that's me and look at my years of signature and how horrible my signature is. And I missed the part where the person there would be like, God, your signature's terrible. Look how bad it's gotten over the years. And you can look at the history of my signature. I missed that. That wasn't a part of the iPad thing. But then you were given a receipt. You took that receipt over to the printer, and they printed out a ballot that it was your ballot. All right, okay. Now, there was a lot to vote for yesterday. There were a lot of different selections, and people were all over the ballot. So depending on who you were voting for, you had to do a little bit of searching. So once you fill that out, then you go. I got in line, and you're waiting to submit into the voting scanner, which I guess some people called the shredder. I talked to a few people who thought they were shredding ballots. Well, that's really not what they were. I don't know of anybody that was shredding ballots.
Yeah, again,
Did you hear the shredding ballot thing?
I did hear that. That somebody, and matter of fact, I got a call from a candidate not long after we got off the air at Marlog yesterday, and thanks to John over at Marlog. Great job. Great food over there. It was nice to be over there on Election Day. Right after we got off the air, somebody called and said, hey, look, there was an issue, and I want to say, did you say Marcy? Somebody said Marcy.
Marcy or North Utica, where they were.
Yeah, and that I believe it was in that area, maybe Deerfield, but that a couple of people reported that when they fed their ballot into the machine, that it shredded it. Now, I don't know. I'm thinking in my mind, if a paper shredder, it comes through and it comes out, dangling on the other end.
It's possible that it might have gotten caught and
maybe
didn't
a small
go through properly.
I don't know, but they don't program these things to shred ever.
No.
So I don't know. I hope to get a call back from the Oneida County Board of Elections this week because we'll try to reach out again for a recap on what happened. We'll see what the delay was. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there was a change in the procedure. This is my understanding. It's a very superficial understanding. I don't know any details about it. But essentially, it was explained to me. You talked about how Oneida County had become very good at quickly reporting numbers.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Allegedly, there's like a little flash drive, right? And you pull it out of the voting machine and you put it into a computer, or maybe you just hit it while it's still in the voting machine. And essentially, what would happen?
Davy line 1. What
would happen is it just sends it. It just sends it to the Board of Elections and they post it. So, again, that's how non-specific my understanding of the way it works. I don't even know if you pull that drive out of the machine or if you just hit send to send it along. But that's why in years past, I mean, within 15 minutes,
they had results.
Yeah. And we were 2.5 hours in last night and still had nothing.
Yeah. Of course, you mentioned Stefanik with a big win, which was expected.
Yep.
And Kathy Hochul, although Zeldin is not conceding, Hochul is saying she won and won by a pretty big margin. I don't think there's any surprise. A lot of that had to do with does Utica or does New York City get their vote out, and it looks like they did.
Here's what I'm looking at on the State Board of Elections website. It's 2.944 million to 2.659 million. By a percentage, it breaks down to 52 to 47%. She's up by just shy of 300,000 votes. Looks like 2.9 something, or excuse me, 290,000 votes she might be up by. But for districts reporting, this says, the State Board of Elections, there's still over 1,000 districts that need to be reported, tallied. I don't know what part of the state they're in.
Chances
I don't
are
know how many there are.
They're more upstate than downstate.
He was saying last night something like 1.4 million votes he thought still needed to be counted. So she's saying she won. He's not conceding yet.
Pennsylvania, a very important state when it comes to who controls the Senate. And in Pennsylvania right now is Fox News' Tanya J. Powers. And she's with us. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning. Do I have her? That's Tanya on line one?
Hello?
I got you now.
I can't hear Bill.
I got you now.
Barely hear
How
Bill.
about now? Testing 1, 2. And no matter how many times I push that button, it doesn't come on, but I think it's on now. Hello,
There you go.
Tanya.
I can hear you now.
Good
Yeah.
morning. Well, you're so far away in Pennsylvania. It's hard to, get the message to you. All right.
Yes.
This was a big state, Pennsylvania. All eyes on PA.
It was huge, and we, honestly, I think the more surprising thing that happened is the fact that we actually know the winner today. I think that, to me, is most shocking thing about last night.
I agree. Yeah.
Because we had all been, I was ready. I was like, okay, well, it's going to be Friday before we know anything, maybe, And
Right.
I was just sort of like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen, and we'll just have to play it by ear. And then when they started talking about, well, it's been called, I was like, wait, what?
Right. Yeah.
I think that was extremely stunning that it had been called at all. Because it was so late when it happened. It was around 1 or 1:15 maybe when we started, getting whispers that it had been called,
Right,
and
right.
that Fetterman had won. And I was at Fetterman headquarters last night, and everybody was kind of like, looking at different numbers and thinking, okay, well, I guess maybe. And then when they called it, a lot of the supporters had already left because it was, it was a school night, so to speak. And it was, it was really late. And I guess they were kind of like a lot of other people thinking, well, we're not going to know anything tomorrow anyway.
Right.
And there was, a smaller but very dedicated and very excited band of supporters that were still there. And when they called it, the place just was very, very loud. They were so excited, just beyond words. A lot of those people who were active in the campaign, who were there, were probably in their 20s, 30s. I mean, it was a young supporter crowd.
Yeah.
There that was sticking it out to the end. He came out and spoke, and the whole thing wrapped up probably around 2:15, maybe 2:30. It was a late night, but yeah, it was a win that the Democrats were. They'd spent a ton of money. It was the most expensive race in the midterms by far.
And I do have to say that even though all that money was spent, I think that Democrats went in very cautiously and fearing that they were going to, even though it was going to be close, but fearing that they were going to lose that race. And, by the way, over the weekend, you had President Obama, President Biden, and President Trump all campaigning on the same day in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was a huge race. And if anybody who wasn't sure about it before Saturday, having 3 presidents, or 1 current and 2 former presidents, in the same state on the same day,
yeah,
for that one race, that was a huge red flag. That, oh yeah, okay, everybody's pulling out all the stops for this.
Yeah, this is a pretty big one. And then with 4 or 5 other races were still that have not been called as of yet, still unsure of what really happens in the Senate. But Tanya, definitely much closer than anybody predicted. It just shows you, as somebody says this morning, it tells you that what you want, possibly in a certain election, might not be what you end up getting. And boy, there was a lot of that yesterday.
Yeah, it was as close as we had thought it was going to be going into it. It remained that close. At no point did either one of them just run off with it.
Right. Okay, interesting stuff. And Tanya, thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
Have a great day, Tanya. J. Powers from Fox News.
Now, when does Fetterman's wife get sworn in? Is it in January?
Right? Yeah, I think. Yeah. A stroke of genius. It's the first time that all of a sudden stroke became a political issue, right?
Yeah.
And he ran with it. I mean, Fetterman ran with it, saying that, I'm improving, and just imagine how much more improved I'll be in January. Very, very interesting how voters voted in Pennsylvania. But as well in New York, if you'd have asked somebody upstate who was going to win the governor's race, I think that it was pretty hands down. People felt this was going to be the big upset. Or in talking to Governor Pataki yesterday, that this would be the year of Pataki, referring to back when he defeated then Governor Mario Cuomo.
I thought Zeldin would do better. I guess, he says
it's
there's still one.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah,
when you think about
52-47 for statewide, I guess that is closer than I thought.
Well, in a New York governor's race, a Democrat versus a Republican, that is that's a pretty close race, although everybody's calling her the victor. While he is not conceding as of yet.
And I guess in my mind, too, I still have the numbers I was seeing from last night, because the initial numbers that came out were like, they were stuck up there for a while, but she was up 73 to 27% at one point. And again, this was early on, and there was a delay in reporting. So I guess it did wind up closer than I thought as we sit here this morning, but allegedly there are more votes to be counted. I guess we'll see.
This morning we'll speak with, we'll have Dr. Kent Hall on. There's still a lot when it comes to respiratory disease in pediatric cases. It's all over the state, all over the country. John Zogby, in reaction to what happened yesterday, I think John was pretty spot on, but cautious yesterday in making any predictions, but did say, I just can't see he said, I just can't see Kathy Hochul losing in New York. I think that was a pretty good way of putting it. Also, Professor Luke Perry, will speak with him later on as well, and get their take on all of what went down yesterday on Election Day. Interesting stuff. We'll break and come back. It's 6:38. You want to talk about any of it? You have opinion? You have an experience that you had while voting, good or maybe not so good? I'd love to hear from you. At 6:38 WIBX.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer, plus it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
New York, you deserve more. And with United Healthcare, you'll get more. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. So call United Healthcare today. With the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage Plan, you get more from your Medicare dollar, now including better than ever dental, vision, over-the-counter, and prescription drug coverage. Call United Healthcare at 1-855-295-6277 today and speak with a licensed sales agent. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Mohawk Valley FCU is giving you even more reasons to become a member and save money with their early fuel loan program. If you use alternative heating such as propane, heating fuel, pellets, or wood, then Mohawk Valley FCU has your back. You can receive up to $2,000 subject to credit approval. Stock up now for the upcoming heating season and save with Mohawk Valley FCU. Just one of the many benefits Mohawk Valley FCU has to offer. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info. Mohawk Valley FCU, member focused, member driven.
Is there any better gift than a great night's sleep? That's what you get from sheets so soft and luxurious they're loved by millions of Americans, including 3 U.S. presidents. I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch. Our best-selling signature sheets are buttery, breathable, and get softer with every wash. And they don't just feel incredible, they're made from scratch with the finest 100% organic cotton and completely free from toxins. Everyone can sleep better knowing their bedding is made better at every step. Bring unmatched comfort to your holiday home with the finest 100% organic cotton bedding and bath. Shop our Home for the Holidays event now for 20% off when you use promo code ENJOY at bollandbranch.com. That's one of the best offers of the entire year. So hurry to bollandbranch.com to take 20% off for a limited time only. That's BOLLANDBRANCH.com. Promo code ENJOY. See site for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, listen, we have results from last night we'll get into. You want to talk about any of this? Somebody you voted for you're happy about. Somebody you voted for that didn't win, you're not happy. Did you witness something nefarious? Davey, though, this morning had the question of the day. And, Davey, that question is...
Did Rhonda Youngs win in Madison County?
In Madison County, this was the write-in case where the assistant DA had gotten into some trouble. There was an overdose incident that occurred at his house. After toxicology reports, fentanyl was discovered, but he would not get off the ballot. Moses is his name. He would not get off the ballot and decided he was still going to run for judge. Now, the Republicans, the Democrats, and conservatives all decided to pull any support they had for Moses, the only person on the ballot, and put their support with Rhonda Youngs, who's not on the ballot. So the only way Rhonda Youngs could win in Madison County was for people to write her name on the ballot as a write-in. So here becomes the question. Did Rhonda... Oh, I have a drum roll for you. Did Rhonda Youngs win in Madison County?
Instead of answering yes or no, I'll just tell you the percentage split first.
Okay. This is the worst timpani drum roll I've ever heard, by the way. It's almost like something you'd hear during when the natives would come in on Gilligan's Island. Okay.
Madison County Judge, County Surrogate, and Family Court.
Remember, that was a three-hatter, they call it. That judge wears 3 hats and includes criminal court.
With all districts reporting, 74% of voters wrote in Rhonda Youngs.
74%.
That's
she won.
Unbelievable.
Good for the people of Madison County. You know, I say we, I don't want to bring everybody into this, but this program endorsed her and asked for people in Madison County to vote for her. It's really none of our business, right? But just in terms of decency and holding people accountable, I think. I think it was important for Madison County voters to come out, and they did.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
And they came out with pens in hand. 74-26 was the final, and all of her votes, over 16,000 votes, were write-ins.
Wow. 16,000 votes. Good for the people of Madison County. Wow.
I wonder if there's going to be challenges like you wrote Rhonda without an H next to the R.
Well, and it's funny, in conversations we had with her and conversations that we had with the Republican chair there, that they made it very clear that if you wrote Rhonda without an H, they'd accept that. If you wrote Rhonda Young instead of Rhonda Youngs, they would accept that. But I think they did a really good job of educating people. Here's what you need to do. Here's how to, because I've never done a write-in before. Have you?
No.
I guess I wouldn't offhand know exactly how to do it. But they did a good job of educating people on how to do that. Mike this morning with a couple of we have a couple of comments, and John Decker as well, who we'll speak to tomorrow and get his take on all of what's going on out there. But I've lost it. There it is. Can you imagine being Dr. Oz waking up this morning? I can't beat a far, far left-wing stroke victim. Maybe politics is not for me. And John Decker, my forecast is looking eerily accurate. And his forecast was this is going to be much tighter than everybody thinks. There were issues that came into play here that got Democrats out in an off-year election, a midterm election, that based on the economy alone, you wouldn't expect Democrats to come out. But there was enough out there, including Roe v. Wade, especially in some states, that got voters out.
Sue in Utica says, the saddest thing about voting is that you often never seem to be able to vote for someone. You're just voting against the worst candidate. And that's a toss-up.
I think there's a lot of that, right?
She said, wishing to get Kathy Hochul out, but would Lee Zeldin be any better? Lance and Lee, who is the sourest of all sour grapes, this is a follow-up to the comment as we wrapped up the show. It's funny hearing these crybabies that have been in office for 30 years complain about elections.
Lance and Lee is not a fan of the Republican establishment.
Yeah, and I think it's funny he calls them crybabies, but whines on our app every single morning.
I'm just saying, listen, he's somebody that stays consistent with his opinion. He does dislike many that who are in power.
And I say good morning to Lance there. And then Gerald in Whitesboro, he's casting a ballot, but it's not political or election related. It's about the program. He said, I long for the days of WIBX mornings with Jim and Ken. It's been downhill ever since.
It has. Well, we apologize for that. Remember those old days. Ken Finelli, right?
And our buddy Rondinelli. So
it was good to hear Jim's voice yesterday.
It was good, yeah. We missed Jim quite a bit. He was up at the counter there having breakfast, so I went over and talked to him. Did you end up seeing him yesterday, Smitty?
I haven't seen him since the weekend.
I didn't see you when I came back, but he told me to tell you hello.
During an interview with that, you want to do some other things that are not politics? We can go off politics a little bit here.
A little.
During an interview with Access Hollywood, Judge Judy says that when she and Justin Bieber were neighbors back in 2014, did you know that Judge Judy and Justin Bieber were neighbors?
Who do you think threw bigger parties? I bet you it was her.
She said Justin was scared of her, even telling his security to let him know when she was gone. Then they could have some fun. This is what she had to say about Justin Bieber.
He's scared to death of me. There was a period of time before he grew up when he was foolish and doing foolish things. And so I must have said something about it. And then I understood that he was paying the front door people to let them know when I was there, coming and going, so he wouldn't have to bump into me.
I'm scared to death of her. I would be, too. She's a yeller. You know the story over the weekend where Aaron Carter was the one that passed away?
Yes.
Boy, I saw some pictures on the Entertainment Tonight. Oh, boy. He had reached the point in his life where they were saying he was schizophrenic, definitely dealing with drug abuse. And it was according to his roommate or a friend of his who was there and actually found him, was in the bathtub. The bath water was all yellow, and he had he was huffing. Do you do that with like spray paint and that sort of thing? Huffing. That was kind of what he was stuck on. And I had said, his brother Nick Carter was with the Backstreet Boys, and they were performing in London. They had a tribute to him in their show. My God, wouldn't you get on a plane and come home when your brother has just died? But apparently they were estranged. He had threatened to kill Nick Carter's wife.
Wow.
There was just apparently all sorts of drug-induced bad going on there.
When you played
he was young. I mean, he was just about 30 years old.
When you played the audio from the concert the other night, I just thought it was bizarre because the guy hadn't even been dead for 24 hours, and they basically announce a tribute, and you hear in typical concert fashion, people are like, "Whoa, yeah!" It's like, that's not the time to be cheering.
Not the way you'd normally react to somebody's death.
I just thought that was so weird.
That 2.4 or 04, that $2 billion Powerball jackpot sold in California at Joe's Service Center. Here's Joe, the owner of the service center. He wins $1 million.
Wait, I get a cut?
Just for selling the ticket. Here we
The
go.
California Lottery is so excited to present the gentleman behind me from Joe's Service Center with $1 million bonus check. Yeah, round of applause. Joe, what are you going to do with your money?
I want to share it with the family, with my kids, my grandchildren. I would like to thank all the media. They come in with this weather and celebrate with everybody.
Free Slurpees for everybody. Free Slurpees for everybody.
Yeah, and, somebody better tell him it's $1 million because he's sharing it with so many people. I think he's going to be working extra shifts at the gas station.
Boy, isn't it amazing how you look at $1 million today and you're like, wow, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal, but it's only $1 million. Really? Okay.
Yeah, the whole Bobby Bonilla thing where the Mets had to pay him $1 million. I think they're still paying him $1 million a year. But at the time, everyone was like, "Wow, that's so much money."
That's big.
It probably doesn't even pay his taxes.
And meanwhile, the winner with the cash payout, lump sum cash payout, will take in more than $900 million, almost $1 billion.
So the tax on that is more than 50%. It was $1.2 billion, and they get less than $1 billion.
They say that it can go up as high as, and really a lot depends on where you are. I believe
the state income tax,
but the payout was like $987 million, something like that. Taxes can go up as high as 60%, depending on where you are. A bouncer in Oklahoma went viral with a trick out there to spot a fake ID. In the video, there's a young lady trying to get into his club, and here's how the whole thing went down. He talks about ripping the ID in half, but that's a little misleading. He easily peels open the plastic covering around the ID. He says it's a good indicator that it was messed with. A real ID is tightly sealed. Like if you were to take your real license, it's you'd never be able to get the plastic coating off that, right?
No. Typically, when I get a fake ID, first I'll let them know, ma'am, this is a fake ID, and then I'll wait for their response. It's not though. And that's the typical response, and then I tell them, well, if that's so, then why can't I rip the fake ID in half like that? And typically they say, and I say, you can't stay here and you gotta go.
So interesting when he says ripping it in half, it's basically peeling the ID and peeling the covering right off it. Bill Morehouse in here this morning. Let's see what William has to say. Reason why I bought a place in Florida, getting out of this hellhole of a state. Although I got to say that really all around the country, it wasn't the red wave that we had expected. So I don't know where you can go, Bill. But he said Florida is the place where he's going to go to get out of this sad, sad, sad state. How dumb people are. 2 more years of millions and millions and millions, some of them terrorists coming across the border. Load your gun, baby. Maybe load both your guns. By the way, I wish all your listeners good luck taking the subway to a Yankee game. All right, so he's saying New York will be unsafe, but I'm not sure we have the border problem here, although they are shipping up some illegal aliens from Florida and Texas.
Yeah, so we briefly mentioned this yesterday that there may be an announcement for Utica mayor coming this week, a candidate announcement.
Well, can we say it's Bob Cardillo sent out a press release? A guy sent out a press release on his campaign. Bob Cardillo is going to announce he's going to run. I believe that announcement's going to come tomorrow.
Well, I was okay. You've taken the mystery away, but it certainly wasn't Bill Morehouse then, right?
Was it? Well,
he's moving apparently.
Bill, I've been speaking with Bill, and I do think that if Zeldin had won, you might have seen Bill more enthusiastic about maybe sticking around and running for mayor.
I think you're 100%
correct. But what he's saying to us now is he's not. He doesn't feel enthusiastic. He needs to get out of Dodge and go to Florida, where there's Mickey Mouse and DeSantis. But I'm not sure how long he's going to be around, right? His chances are looking better and better when it comes to running for president.
It's Ron DeSantis, Santa, and all of his GOP elves.
Here's Kathy in Rome. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. I have to tell you, I voted 2 weeks ago. That makes it handy being able to go in on a Saturday, and I went to the South Rome Senior Citizen Center.
Nice.
That worked out good. I was hoping for that red wave. I was hoping that
I think a lot of people were, yeah.
Zelder would get in.
Zelder,
I have a question for all politicians.
Okay.
Since heating cost is getting so bad, whether you heat, we all heat with electricity, you all have oil or gas
or whatever, right?
Else. Why on our state and our federal income tax we can't deduct the total cost of keeping us warm and everything on our income tax?
Well, I do think there will be some tax breaks that you may get, but the problem is you're still going to have to come up with that money up front, right? And for some people, it'll be difficult this year based on how much it's going to cost, depending on what you heat with.
Well, we were kind of worried, so we've been working at it all summer, all spring and summer. So we're hoping, that we
You've
can
saved up.
manage,
All right.
considering we heat with oil.
All right, interesting stuff there, Kathy. You heat with oil, so that
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a bit expensive this year. So, all right, well, good luck with that, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great. You might have to win a horse race or two over there.
Oh, I might have
Yeah,
to.
that'll pay for
I
the whole
might
thing.
have to move to Florida.
You might have to
and
go
play the horses down there.
with Bill Morehouse. Yes. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
And you could save on gas prices. You just catch a ride with him.
You could. Bill will. Bill, I think he might be taking a bus down for everybody. We'll speak with some of the candidates here this morning. You want to pipe in on any of it? Feel free. Professor Luke Perry coming up next hour. Also, John Zogby on the red wave. Interestingly, in the 22nd congressional district, the race between Knoll and Brandon Williams is basically tied at about 50%, but there's enough out there where Brandon Williams is declaring victory. Knoll says not so fast. That one is probably going to take a little while to determine who officially wins that race. Something about the 22nd, isn't it?
It never happens here, does it?
No, just doesn't happen. Anyway, we'll talk more about that as well with Luke Perry. We'll also hear from Mary Finnegan after a big win. We'll speak with her coming up in just a little bit. It's 6:57. News coming up straight ahead on a chilly start to a Wednesday morning.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and launched her business, one paw at a time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
Contractors and landscapers, rent your way to greater profits with Bobcat equipment from Warner Sales and Service. From heavy work right down to the fussy stuff, Bobcat loaders, excavators, and a wide variety of attachments will handle all the tough jobs like lifting, digging, pushing, carrying, as well as the more precise applications, grading, and leveling. You'll be able to take on more jobs and get your current projects done with Warner Sales and Service. Whether it's the tough lifting and digging or the more precise work with attachments, you name it, Warner Sales and Service has a Bobcat rental to make sure your projects get done. Tough jobs demand tough equipment. So when you have a tough job, run a Bobcat machine. So stop in today at Warner Sales and Service, just off of Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and at WarnerSS.com.
Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. The Election Day script is still being written.
I'm Dave Anthony. But it wasn't the big red wave Republicans hoped for. Still, GOP House leader Kevin McCarthy is confident they'll win control of the House.
Thank you to everyone who voted Republican for the very first time.
There are still 63 races not called. Many lean Democrat, but Republicans have already won 200 House seats, so the GOP could end up with a small majority. In the Senate races, Democrats flipped what's now a Republican seat in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman overcame a stroke and beat Dr. Mehmet Oz.
This campaign has always been about fighting for everyone who's ever been knocked down that ever got back up.
In Ohio, Republican J.D. Vance won, and GOP Congressman Ted Budd elected to the Senate in North Carolina. So as it stands now, each party has 48 Senate seats with 4 races not called yet in Arizona and Nevada and Georgia, which could be headed to a runoff next month, and Wisconsin, where Fox's Jeff Manasso reports.
At about 1 a.m. local time here at the Ron Johnson headquarters in Neenah, Wisconsin, the Republican incumbent senator addressing the crowd, saying he's looked at the numbers and that he's confident his Democratic challenger Mandela Barnes can't make up the gap.
I'm not going to declare victory until all the numbers are in, but I just want to give you guys the sense that this race is over.
Fox News voter analysis shows inflation and crime were big factors in the way people voted. So was abortion, especially for Democrats. And that issue was a question on some ballots.
In Michigan, for example, a sweeping amendment to the state constitution passed guaranteeing the right to abortions.
Fox's Gary Baumgarten. A similar measure also passed in California, while in Kentucky, an attempt to amend the Constitution to say there's no right to an abortion appears to have failed. It's a rough morning at Facebook. A lot of employees losing their jobs. The parent company Meta laying off 11,000 people, 13% of its workforce. America's listening to Fox News.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Good morning. Mostly clear skies and a chilly start this morning. We are at 25 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. All right, taking a look at some of the election races from around the state of New York. Governor Kathy Hochul will be leading New York for the next 4 years, defeating Republican challenger and Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin. With the victory, Hochul makes history, becoming the first woman ever to be elected to governor of New York State. She was lieutenant governor last year when she took office after the resignation of ex-governor Andrew Cuomo. In other statewide contests, both Attorney General Letitia James and State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli earned re-election, as did Senator Chuck Schumer. One note on the governor's race, Lee Zeldin not yet conceding. He says there are still 1.4 million ballots that need to be counted. In the 22nd Congressional District, Republican Brandon Williams declaring victory in the race to represent Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties, and a portion of Oswego County as well. He said overnight that he believed he had secured enough votes to defeat Democrat Francis Knoll. Knoll not conceding. He points out there are still thousands of affidavit and absentee ballots that need to be tallied. Again, the 22nd District is all of Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga, and a small portion of Oswego County. Here in Oneida County, some of the countywide election races. New Oneida County Clerk Mary Finnegan defeating Marimas Magic Oren 70 to 30% essentially. And for the race for Oneida County Sheriff, incumbent Rob Mayshield defeats challenger Jim Scarchilli 80 to 20%. Well, Thanksgiving just a few weeks away, and the owner and operator of a Syracuse McDonald's will be doing his part to make sure people in the area have a turkey on the table. Grant Kemmerer, who runs the McDonald's on Teal Ave, will be handing out Wegmans gift cards so that people can buy turkeys weighing up to 14 pounds for Thanksgiving. The giveaway begins at 5 p.m. He has not revealed how many gift cards he'll be handing out. Some of the largest and loudest trucks in the world will be going to the Jam-A Wireless Dome. Monster Jam was going to be held at Jam-A Wireless on Saturday, April 8th. Among the trucks that are expected to be at the show are Max D, Soldier, Fortune, and the Gravedigger. There will also be a pit party on the day of the event at 2:30. Tickets go on sale to the general public coming up next week. In the city of Utica, one man allegedly carrying a gun is now facing charges after a bit of a run-in with Utica police. They say he was on an early morning walk, but began acting suspicious when he saw officers in a patrol car. That man, 26-year-old Raheem Hightower, allegedly tensed up and removed a bag he'd been carrying and tossed it over a fence. Officers went to investigate. They say in that bag was included in that bag was a stolen handgun. Hightower was taken into custody nearby. Officers say the gun's serial number revealed it had been reported stolen in Utica about a year and a half ago in May of 2020. A Central New York contractor facing a 21-count indictment alleging he didn't complete jobs he'd been hired to do and for allegedly writing bad checks. New York State Police have charged 34-year-old Cameron Hasner with grand larceny, scheme to defraud, and issuing bad checks. He's the owner of Bedrock Property Management, according to state troopers. They say that he defrauded several people, issuing bad checks for goods and services throughout Jefferson County and other parts of the state, and also failed to complete jobs that he had been paid to do. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for a cooler start to the day, but we'll got my forecast here. Mostly sunny skies today with a high reaching 58 degrees. Mostly clear skies overnight tonight with a low of 35. You know, we were down to 22 last night, Bill. Or I should say this past night, earlier this morning. Sunny skies Thursday with a high reaching 65. Veterans Day coming up on Friday. The forecast says cloudy skies, rain showers, but a high of 69 degrees. Right now we have clear skies, 26. WIBX News Time, 7:07.
All right, so some sports to throw at you. A relatively quiet night. The Islanders came from behind, scored 3 in the final period to beat the Rangers 4-3. Devils pushed their winning streak to 7 games after coming back to beat the Flames in Newark. And the Nets are back at home after going 2-1 on the road. Brooklyn is playing host to the New York Knicks tonight at the Barclays Center. What else do we have? How about 2 teams making their first appearance in the top 4 of the college football playoff rankings? TCU climbed 3 spots in the rankings to number 4, and Michigan is up 2 spots to number 3 for a second straight week. Ohio State is ranked 2nd. Georgia moved up 2 spots and is the new number 1 team in the college football rankings. Basically, what we have other Giants starting safety Javier McKinney will not commit to being able to return this season after being placed on the reserve non-football injury list. McKinney was in a hard plastic cast and sling on Tuesday after having surgery on a couple of fingers, injuries that he described as a freak accident in Mexico. And, Davey, word is that Josh Allen might be injured. We don't know how bad it is, but there may be an injury there, which would change an awful lot for the Buffalo Bills.
Right, and I have no faith in Case Keenum.
Davey has no faith in the backup quarterback.
You know, one thing you forgot to do yesterday, I didn't talk to you. How about Syracuse winning their opening basketball game on Monday night?
They did. They won
90-72 over Lehigh.
Yeah.
You know who they play on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday?
Who do they play Tuesday?
HCCC.
No, Colgate.
Colgate lost a tough one in their opener on Monday.
To Buffalo, 88-87.
Okay, let's see. I have a bunch to get to. So there was a rock and roll death. Do you want to hear about that? Don McCafferty, the original lead vocalist of the band Nazareth, has died. You're looking puzzled, Jeff.
I've never even heard of that band.
You have. You just don't know. He was 76. He and the band peaked in 1975 with their Hair of the Dog album. Anything? Does it ring a bell for you? This
Hair of the Dog does.
This will ring a bell for you. This is the lead singer singing in this song here. Able to hit some pretty high notes.
Oh, Love Hurts, yeah.
Yeah. He's 76 years old. And they say he could still hit that note. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, he has passed away. There was another that I wanted to get into that I thought was pretty interesting here this morning. This is after, because this is only going to last for a little while in Chicago, because the Halloween stories will be all over with, right? Halloween's probably over with now. It is over with. I get it. I do understand.
Yeah.
But in Chicago, a principal has now been suspended over his handling of a student who wore a German soldier's uniform and gave a Nazi salute on stage during a Halloween contest. The principal said, no, it's not a Nazi costume. It's just an East German soldier from the communist area. But then when he did the Nazi salute, the principal tried to just kind of push it off, and the principal has now been suspended as students booed as the kid was giving the Nazi salute. Probably not a typical Halloween costume.
Correct. And this is going to be a weird segue, but we were talking yesterday about daylight savings time, and I watched a little piece on it that I found online, and allegedly it had something to do with Nazi Germany. I think they were the first to do it, and then we followed suit, and it had I can't remember the reason they gave at the time, but this particular piece I watched said the whole thing about farmers.
Yeah,
that was an old wives' tale that wasn't
right.
true.
That it really wasn't about farmers,
and that farmers have been fighting against this for decades.
So
allegedly.
So I'll tell you though that this is the first time in a long time where it looks like the chance of changing the moving of the clocks could happen. The Senate, U.S. Senate, has passed a bill, and the Senate has not taken it up. If the Senate were to take it up this year and approve it, it would get rid of daylight standard time. We would go to daylight saving time, and that's where we would stay. Now, I know we were talking with Senator Griffo about this yesterday. You just have to figure out that at some point in December, daylight is shortest in the month of December as we near the first day of winter, which I don't know is what, December 20th, somewhere in that range.
Something like that.
That'll work out to be the least sunlight we get in a day, and it will mean that the clocks the sun will not really come up until about close to 7:30. It'll be after 7 o'clock when the sun is just rising. If you were to get rid of if we were to be in daylight saving time right now, the clocks would not have moved back, and it would be 8:30 that kids would be getting to school, and it would still be dark, at least for a few weeks.
All right, here's the worst of it.
In the month of December.
All right, December. This is December 1st for this year. The sun is supposed to come up at 7:12 and set at 4:26.
Your worst would be right around the 20th.
Yes, and that's where I'm heading.
Yeah.
So as late as the sun comes up would actually be, oh boy, as late as it comes up. Look, December 31st is 7:32 in the morning. December 20th is 7:29.
That's my point. So
it would be actually 8:30.
It would be 8:30 in the morning during the month of December, just before kids go on Christmas vacation. It would be 8:30, and it still would not be. The sun still wouldn't be up. I remember this as a kid in 1974. We tried it out, and it didn't go well then. But apparently, we've forgotten about that test, and we want to go back and try it all over again.
And again, the first week. Now, keep in mind when we talk about kids would be in school at 8:30 and the sun would just be coming up. That time of year is usually a break time, right?
I'm saying it would be just before. It would be getting better by the time they return from Christmas break, and just before Christmas break would be the time where do we change it and you take 2 weeks off every year at Christmas time? I don't know. Are we all right? Is it that dangerous that kids go to school and it's dark out? Is that dangerous? Many of them will play sports later on as they get a little older, and in the wintertime they'll be coming home, and it'll be dark when they come home. So what, I guess, is the difference? But it is a bit of a shock to the system when you look outside and it's 5:30 at night and it's dark.
Yeah, well, yesterday was the first time, right? Certainly for us, because obviously, Sunday would have counted, I guess, and Monday. But I sat down to watch some things yesterday, and we were on the phone. That's why I was talking to you. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I can't wait till these numbers start coming in. And it was 6:20. I said, Bill, there's still 2.5 hours before the polls even close. It's dark outside.
And I said the nightcaps start at 4:30 now. This is terrible.
One more note on daylight savings. The 7:32 under our current system, the sun will come up at 7:32 the last 2 days of December, and for the first 8, maybe 7:31 on the January 9th. So
and then it
the
gets
first
better.
9 days of January as well. So if you kicked an hour forward, that would be 8:32 in the morning for almost a 2-week stretch. Again, last week of December, first week of January.
And most kids are getting to school at around what time? 8 o'clock, 7:45.
Right, 7:45.
So unless they're elementary, then that's a little bit later. But so that means that for a good part of January, you'll be going to school in the dark. I don't know if that is a big deal for everybody, but keep in mind if this ends up passing, that's what will happen. On the flip side, it'll be nice that it won't be getting dark at 5:30. It'll be 6:30 when it's getting dark, and give you a little more of the daylight during the winter months that we deal with. Speaking of Daylight Donuts, Chuck Sedella and everybody over at Daylight Donuts, come in today and enjoy what is being called an after-election day latte or an after-election day cup of coffee. I'm just making this up. But why? Because today is the day after Election Day. And why not go in? A box of coffee, a box of donuts, freshly made every day, bagels, freshly made every day, delicious at Daylight Donuts. And to keep you warm all winter long, whether it's daylight or dark out, it's soups, delicious, hot, hearty soups at Daylight Donuts. Chuck Sedella with Seattle's best at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Quick break. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Hall, Luke Perry, professor at Utica University, and John Zogby talking about last night's elections. And by the way, Bill Morehouse, before we break, Bill Morehouse says, Kathy, yes, you can hop a ride with him to Florida if you like. It's 7:17 at WIBX.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey there, it's Jeff Manaski from WIBX. You know, the amount of people doing business online has skyrocketed. Are you stuck in the past and ready to move into the future? It's never been more important to make sure that your business is online. Town Square Interactive can help. Town Square Interactive can help you find more customers online and help you grow your business. The best part? It's fast, easy, and there are no contracts. If you want to find out more, just visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Your bills are due on the 13th, but you don't get paid until the 15th. Sound familiar? Life doesn't always wait for payday. Get the NetSpend All Access account for your everyday mobile banking needs and get paid up to 2 days faster with direct deposit. Get started today at netspend.com and go beyond banking. Banking services provided by an account established by Pathward NA member FDIC. Faster access based on comparison of our ACH processing policy versus posting funds at settlement. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
Herkimer County has its feet in the Mohawk Valley and head in the Adirondack Mountains. For a spectacular fall tour, drive north from West Winfield or Richfield Springs through the Mohawk River communities of Herkimer and Little Falls to Dolgeville and Middleville. You will see more and more colors on the country roads around Newport and Poland, topping off with Old Forge in the Adirondacks. New York's tallest county is built for your autumn tour. Herkimer County, I love New York.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
We need more cowbell. Remember that, Ben? Is this the song that they...
No.
This isn't the song? What was the song they used? I'll say we need more cowbell. I can't do his... his voice.
Andrew, text me.
Oh, this was one of Andrew's favorite bits on SNL. Saturday Night Live had... I have to tell you.
Don't Fear the Reaper? Is that what it was?
It might be, yeah. Yeah, it might be the one. Anyway, this is Nazareth, by the way. You know this, right?
I know this song, yeah.
Okay. Vulgarity. Over the weekend, and I get it, SNL, sometimes I'm watching Saturday Night Live and I'm thinking, what are they talking about? I don't even understand the joke at all. I don't understand the point of reference. I must be too old for this.
No, you know what it is? It's late at night. It's time for you to woke up, Bill.
I must say they had a hilarious bit.
Oh, really?
On I was thinking of Dr. Hall as I was watching the bit, but it was all like, I got to tell you, I just have been really overwhelmed lately, and I got me some COVID. And the whole thing was, when you're feeling down and you're feeling exhausted and you need some time off, COVID. And you can even and now purchase the always positive COVID test. Comes out of the package with 2 red lines. I've been sitting at home for a week. I didn't have to bother anyone. No one bothered me. I was home all week long. Funny bit if you get a chance to. Obviously, they are delivering it far better than I have just delivered it. But COVID tests that come with red lines already on. It's a positive test. And the woman's shooing her kids and her husband out the door. Sorry, you're going to have to go to a hotel. I have COVID. Very, very funny.
That is great.
A very funny bit. Something that is a little more rare these days on Saturday Night Live. Dr. Kent Hall standing by on the line right now. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Do they make those COVID tests that already come positive? I guess they probably don't.
I haven't seen any yet, but I suppose you could use a red Sharpie if you needed to.
I guess you could. You got to paint a very, very straight line there. But, yeah, I guess you could. Okay, Doc, we continue to hear stories about this this respiratory virus that's going around and affecting kids and pediatric beds that are relatively full across the state and across the country right now.
Yeah, so that's the respiratory syncytial virus, which is going by RSV. That's what that's how we designate it. And yeah, it is definitely having a significant effect on kids and therefore a significant effect on the census within the pediatric hospitals or on pediatric wards. Yesterday, so Mohawk Valley Health System does take care of kids from an inpatient status, and yesterday we had 3 kids, just ourselves, that were RSV positive, and that's a big number for us, especially at this time of year. We had other kids that were here too, but that's how many we had with them RSV. Talking to my colleagues, like in Syracuse and Albany, and they're just inundated with kids, not only in the inpatient but in their pediatric emergency department as well.
So I think that you're hearing from schools and classes that have 6, 7 kids out at a time. It's typical. You get kids in school, especially in elementary schools, and this tends to just swoop right through the schools pretty easily. Yeah,
RSV is a very infectious virus. So it spreads pretty well, and kids, especially young. It's the younger, so it's the elementary schools really. It's less of a problem in the junior high and the high schools, but certainly in the elementary schools, it does spread very readily. And that's why, the things that we learned in COVID actually should stand us in good stead with the RSV as it relates to, social distancing and, masking, and most importantly, if they're sick, they should be staying home.
Wayne messaging in this morning to ask, what should you do if you believe your child has the onset of RSV, and what are some of the early symptoms that go beyond a cold that parents would know that this might be something more serious than a little chest cold?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So taking the second part first, really it starts out probably very early, just like you would expect a cold to. So congestion, cough, a fever, a low-grade fever. But fairly readily, usually it's 6 to 12 hours, it becomes something much more than that. The runny nose becomes much more significant. The cough becomes much more significant with a lot of sputum formation, a lot of phlegm, and it's a deep cough. It's what our mothers called a rattly cough. And the issue is, especially with little kids, is that it causes a lot of inflammation of the airways. And as the airways get inflamed, they kind of swell up, and so the air passages become smaller. And that's really when the smaller kids start to have problems, because their airways are smaller to begin with. And so they end up, having difficulty with airflow going into their lungs so that they can actually, oxygenate their blood. And so so it's a fairly rapid change from what seems like a cold to something much more significant, especially from a respiratory status with a lot of phlegm. The fevers can get much higher. They can get to 102, 102.5, 103. And again, mostly the population that is definitely at the most vulnerable is smaller kids. So kids definitely under the age of 2, I would actually say probably up to 5 is when they could have significant problems with it.
Okay. And what do you suggest in terms of? I think a lot of these over-the-counter medicines to stop coughs are just garbage. I mean, a lot of this stuff just doesn't really seem to work. And some of it has alcohol in it. Some will make your kids drowsy. Maybe there's the benefit there. I don't know. What do you suggest? What should you give a kid or an adult for that matter when you get something like a pretty bad cold?
Yeah, so I would say that the most important thing is, number one, you want to make sure that you're staying well hydrated, because the more that you have difficulty breathing and the faster that you breathe, actually you breathe out a fair amount of water vapor, and so you can get dehydrated pretty quickly. Add to that the fact that your metabolism is ramped up, and that you probably have a fever, whether it's a low grade or a higher fever. So all of those things mean that your body needs more fluid.
Yeah.
Staying well hydrated. The other thing about staying well hydrated is that it hydrates the mucus that you produce, and so it's easier for you to cough it out to keep your airways as open as possible. I don't recommend a lot of cough medicines per se. What I usually recommend is something like ibuprofen or Tylenol, something like that for fever control and for body aches. And for little kids, especially for the infants and the kids like under the age of 2, sometimes getting those bulb syringes that they give moms when they go home from the hospital, and sucking out their nose so to try and keep the upper airway as open as possible.
What about? I just saw that they now have two medicines that I just discovered. As a kid, my mother would do the Vicks Vapor Rub, and then put a little cloth over a towel or whatever over your chest. Does that work? Because now they have it in roll-on, or it's like a stick, like you'd have deodorant. You just roll it on the kid's chest and cover it up. Does that stuff work?
So it doesn't really help from an opening the airway standpoint. What I will say is that menthol that is in it tends to stimulate the nasal passages, and so it certainly feels like you're breathing better.
And then when we were traveling outside the country recently, I found Sudafed in a nasal spray. And the pharmacist said, "Oh, this is the best to use because it doesn't go through your bloodstream. It doesn't go through. You're not ingesting it. You just spray it up the nostrils, and it does the same thing." Would that still, because those with people who have high blood pressure have to be very careful on the medicine they take when they have colds. Doing it in the nostrils, would that take away that issue with high blood pressure, or does it still exist?
So it would be a problem, probably not as much of a problem because you're actually taking in less. And to your point, some of it does get into the bloodstream because it's absorbed through the mucosa, but you're not taking as large a dose. I will say the downside to any of those nasal sprays, because they do work, and they work by constricting the blood vessels. So basically, it opens up the airway passages, the upper airway passages.
Yeah.
The downside is that there's a rebound effect. So when it wears off, that the inflammation and the blood kind of goes flowing back in, and it can actually make it feel worse. And what happens is that people tend to use it over and over and over again because they don't like or it's very, very uncomfortable with that rebound effect.
Okay, all
have
right.
to be very, very judicious with it.
Okay, Doc, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thanks, everybody. Please have a great day and be safe.
All right, you do the same. Thank you. I want to switch to Luke Perry, professor at Utica University. Big day yesterday, but not the big wave that everybody had expected. Something we talked about yesterday, Luke. It was really unclear what was going to happen, but that big red wave did not.
Good morning. Yeah,
Good morning.
And I think there's two initial reactions I have to that. First, I think Democrats over the past several years have struggled with turnout when it comes to midterm elections. And that's been the norm most of the century. Democrats come out more in presidential elections than midterm. And we saw since 2016 with the rise of Donald Trump that has changed. In 2018, the Democrats came out in strong numbers and did well in the midterm. They held that steady in 2020, and preliminary indications suggest the turnout by midterm American standards is going to be pretty high, and I think that helps in part explain the Democrats holding off a red wave. And then, as Jeff mentioned earlier in your program, I think Donald Trump remains a factor and one that doesn't help a lot of Republican candidates in competitive states and competitive districts. Trump is supporting Trump and denying the outcome of the 2020 presidential election may be helpful for winning primaries in deep red areas, but in more competitive general elections, it does not seem to be nearly as helpful for Republicans.
What does this do if you're Donald Trump today and, you've been teasing the big announcement coming up?
Well, it's certainly probably not news that the former president wanted to hear. I mean, just numerically, Donald Trump has not been good electorally for the Republican Party. He was the first president since Herbert Hoover to lose the White House and have his party lose both the House and the Senate in a 4-year span. So that's not the type of historical company you want to keep when you think about winning elections. Now, of course, Donald Trump has his passionate supporters, about 15% of the populace, but I don't think it's going to change his calculus in terms of what he wants to do. It might change his timing a little bit and the narrative that he uses moving forward.
I do find it interesting. We had Sue in Utica earlier this morning who said, and I guess it was later yesterday, shortly after you were on, said, I don't like Hochul, but I don't think Zeldin would be any better. I do think that there is an issue out there that the economy is what it is. It's a difficult economy, especially for average Americans. But at the end of the day, when you look at your choices and you're not happy with any of them, you either stay home or you kind of go with the status quo. And I think that's what, for a lot of people, I think that's what happened yesterday.
Well, I think it's worth noting the historic nature of Kathy Hochul's election, the first time that a woman has been elected governor in the state of New York. So that's significant and worth recognizing. And irrespective of partisanship, I think a good development when we think about gender and politics. Though Republicans maybe not seeing the results they would like nationally per se, I do think in New York Republicans have done well. Even though Zeldin didn't win, it was a very competitive race. I think Zeldin ran a pretty strong campaign, all things considered. And what I've been looking closely at these House races, going into last night, it was expected statewide that maybe Republicans would end up with 6 to 10 House seats. And that's kind of a large range when we're talking about 26. And right now they're up in 11. And have secured about half of those. So we don't know how some of these close races are going to shake out, of course, but it looks like Republicans in the House delegation here in New York are going to be in a much better position than they were previously.
Yeah.
A quick question on the governor's race here. You mentioned Hochul being elected the first female governor of the state. Will that hold up? As Zeldin was saying last night, there's still 1.4 million votes that need to be counted. Do you think this is over, or there still could be some, we still need to look at the ballots?
I think all the votes should be counted, so I expect that Hochul will win, but of course there's not 100% certainty until all the final tallies are in.
And the other conversation that we had yesterday is Republicans, all likelihood, Republicans should have had that red tsunami that everybody was talking about. But there were those two issues, and the issues of abortion, which was really an igniter for, especially in those states where they could lose that right, and then President Trump out on the campaign trail, especially this past weekend. I think those two issues are issues that even in states like New York got people out to vote, got Democrats out.
Yes, I think that's certainly a factor. When we think about abortion, a lot of the attention is focused on reproductive rights and overturning Roe, which makes sense. But I also think for Democrats, and some of my colleagues in political science have been writing about this in recent days, that issue also connects to the larger issue of the state of democracy. Not only did reproductive rights go away after 50 years, it went away through a unelected Supreme Court where people served for life, and some of those members came to their nomination and confirmation through a contested process in terms of timing and other things. So I think for Democrats, it wasn't only the loss of rights, but it was the larger democratic process, where it's at, where it's been over the last 5 years, and where Democrats think it should go from here.
And then, the January 6th committee, which we all really didn't think was having that much of an effect, seemed to have played a role. That's where that democracy, a lot of that democracy came into play as well.
I think there's a strong sense on the left that democracy is under peril like it has never been before. And I think, getting back to where we started, that's going to turn out more people than perhaps usual if they believe that the state of our political system is in danger. And that's certainly the type of territory that we've been dealing with, and Democrats are particularly passionate about doing something about it.
Luke Perry, as always, we appreciate your time, and we'll do this again sometime soon.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Thanks. I almost feel like, and I'm going to get hate mail for this, but it's okay. I get it anyway. Trump is he's proving to be fool's gold. Real shiny, real nice in your hand, and then you crack it open and it's hollow and empty. And that's not a personal attack. Those are election results. Luke, Professor Perry, I think, accurately pointed out that the losses in Congress for Republicans while he was in office were significant, historic.
I will say that there are places where Trump does unbelievably well, but going to Pennsylvania was probably not the right move. That was not the state where he needed to go. And I think that we can play Monday morning armchair quarterback all we want, and we'll really never know. But is that what tipped the scale just enough to knock Oz out of that race? I don't know. But there are plenty of places where he can go, and his presence is significant. The problem is It's not enough to win a national election right now, at least right now.
And it's not. You can't get buy-in from the other party. You know what I mean? Like there's
and it's the one thing that inspires Democrats to vote.
Correct. Yeah.
There's very little out there, but you have these three issues that are big issues, as Luke said. Democracy under fire, whether you believe that's true or not. That was the Democratic mantra over the last the last year since January 6th. The second is the abortion issue, and the third is the one thing that really gets voters out, Democratic voters out, and that's Donald Trump. I don't know if I've never heard anybody say, I love that Joe Biden. Couldn't wait to get out and vote for him. In fact, I have a Joe Biden flag flying in the back of my pickup truck. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
It was a vote not for Biden. It was a vote against Donald Trump. And, the question is, how well will he do in 2 years when he does it all over again, if that's what really happens?
And there aren't too many Biden flags out there, but there are plenty of Brandon flags. To your point.
There are many of those. So Sheriff Rob Mashel with a gigantic victory yesterday. And, boy, if anybody were to walk away and say, hey, there's this vote was a mandate. I guess this would be it. A pretty big one for you, Sheriff. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Actually just waking up, which is really, really unusual for me. But we definitely got in pretty late and just excited. Obviously extremely grateful, humbled. Just the overwhelming level of confidence given to me by the voters of Oneida County. Certainly, it's a great feeling, and just eager to get back to work. Probably going to be taking signs down for the next couple of days so that we can get that back to normal. But just extremely happy with the outcome. I look at every single town and all three cities I won, overwhelmingly in the county. So that's just a great feeling. And just like I said, I just want to get back to focusing on being the sheriff. It's been a little distracting, especially the last few weeks when it turned negative. And as you know, I'm not a negative guy. It's not in my DNA at all. We stayed positive. We talked about us and our plans and proud of our record. And unfortunately, the other side went extremely negative, and I didn't even pay attention to it. Just kept moving forward, and that is truly the way that I'll always be. And as the three times before, it's worked out very well for me.
I do have to say, and I, of course, worked with doing your media work during this campaign, and I had a chance to see you often as whether we were taping commercials or radio or whatever it was that we were doing. And I do have to say that you did put the blinders on, but I think there was a part that hit you personally when the negative advertising began. I do feel it hit you personally.
It did, and like you said, we know each other well, and the people who know me well, they when people, whether it's my family or my close friends, when they hear people saying things that are obviously untrue, obviously incorrect, and just slinging mud like I said, it's never been. I never once did I ever say I would say things back. I held a lot in, but that's me. And like I said, I have the utmost confidence in the voters of Oneida County, and they in turn obviously have the same in me. And it's just a nice feeling when you see an 80-20 win. It just makes me feel good. And like I said, I just need to get back to work.
Let me ask you something non-election related then, and this is about getting back to work. You're looking to hire corrections officers. I know one of the last times we spoke with you, you said the deadline to apply for the test had been kicked back 2 weeks. Did I see the test has been waived?
Yes. Obviously, my office, the New York State Sheriff's Association, the county executive, the commissioner of personnel here in Oneida County, along with their state association, we, like I said, with other sheriffs across the state, we have been lobbying New York to try to help New York State Department of Civil Service to help us, not just us. And like I said from the beginning, I know my opponent was saying this was my problem. Yeah, it is a problem here, but it's a problem across this entire state, hiring corrections officers and police officers. But because of the significant situation that we are in across this whole state, Civil Service has decided to do away with the exam, and that news we got late afternoon last Friday when the county executive and I scrambled to have a press conference because we wanted to get the correct message out, that the deadline has now been extended till the end of November, but not to take the test or not to sign up for the test, but the deadline's been extended now to apply to get what's called a professional questionnaire. So as long as you apply, you still have to pay a fee. It's a smaller fee, $15. And again, still Mountain Ice will reimburse each person that signs up. But instead of having to go and sit down for a civil service exam, that person, those people in December will get a link from New York State Department of Civil Service. And basically it verifies that what your educational background is, and then any life experiences you may have that would help you with this job. And the more that you score on this questionnaire, like maybe a college degree or working in security or having military background, that gives you a better grade. So just by filling out the questionnaire, you automatically pass. You get a 70, and then any life experiences add to that 70 to bring you up on the list so that you'd be hired quicker by us. So this is a significant step. It's a pilot program only. The state's going to try this one time to see how it goes, and they chose Oneida County and 12 other counties. So we are one of 13 counties who are facing significant shortages in the correctional facilities, and they're allowing us to try to use this to help us boost up our numbers. And we're not going to have to wait 5 months for the marks to come back because there's no marks to come back. We'll be able to get working on these people's backgrounds right around the holiday time. So it's pretty exciting.
And it's that critical of a situation, right? The shortage of people.
Yes, we are down about 74 positions in the correctional facility, and just causing a lot of overtime for the other people that are currently working there, the dedicated men and women. And again, that's what I've been saying through this entire campaign. I mean, the sheriff's office is blessed to have so many dedicated men and women working in all divisions who have never given up, and they continue to do their job each and every day. And I cannot be more proud of them, and certainly grateful for their service to our community.
Well, we gave you about 2 minutes to enjoy your victory, and got right back to work.
Well, he wanted to move on.
That's the way I want it.
All right. Well, listen. Congratulations. We appreciate the time. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You
Bye-bye.
too, Sheriff Rob Mashel. All right, Davey, let's do our free money question of the day. Chance for you to win $106.90, along with some other stuff. In fact, we have a new something as a consolation that'll go along as a consolation or as if you win the money as well. On top of that, we'll include tickets at Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, Friday and Saturday shows. We'll give you that chance. We're looking for caller number what?
3.
You're not screwing around. Let's just go with it. Caller 3, chance to win right now from Hobica and WIBX, 315-736-0186.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Just come to Seneca and Valley, best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. Our 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
It's here! Seneca and Valley's annual Thanksgiving wine sale. All wine cases are 20% off. Mix and match. Gobble up the savings with Josh Cabernet, just $11.99 a bottle. Apothic Red is a super buy at just $8.99. Cupcake, all regular type wines are just $7.99. Only $4.99 after mail-in rebate. Take it easy this holiday season with Relax Riesling, just $8.79 for the 750 milliliter bottle. And our staff favorite, Bogle Chardonnay, is now just $8.79. We are excited to debut our 24 mini bottle wine advent gift set. Available while supplies last. Hurry, sale ends Thanksgiving Day. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer.
For your financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Jim McGuire, branch manager of Baird's Utica office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life. Retirement, family, and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors, so you can be confident all your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for a free estimate.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's do Hopeika's free money question of the day from Joseph and Andrew Hopeika at 315-724-1600 is the phone number for all of your legal needs. Eric is in Deerfield, ready to take a shot at winning our free money question of the day. Eric, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Bill. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. It's the day after Election Day, our little election hangover, if you will. And
I went to bed normal time.
Smart, and you know it's a wonder we could do it after all the negative commercials we've seen in the last.
I know. Between the mailings and the TV commercials, I stayed outside a lot.
Yeah,
the mailings drive me nuts.
Many of them, right? It's
way too many.
Wallpaper your garage with them if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's your question. You have 7 seconds to answer, and you know the deal. Here it is. These three cousins formed a high school band in Fort Payne, Alabama. The rest is history. What's the name of the band? Ready, go.
Who was Alabama?
You're going to go with Alabama. Smart. For $100, it's Alabama. Nice job. Great one there. I asked these guys the question in here, and they're like, it has to be Nazareth, right? Because the guy from Nazareth just died. But,
well, I heard last night one of the Alabama founders died. I don't know if that's true.
That is true.
It is true, yeah. And I saw them in concert. They were very good.
I saw them in concert, too. I was working in country radio when this band first started.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
73-year-old Jeff Cook, one of the founding members of the band, one of the guitarists and founding members of the band Alabama, passed away at the age of 73, so quite sad.
Sad. Boy, I'm feeling older every day.
It's awful, right, Eric? This is
awful.
terrible.
I can still picture them running around on stage. And
all right, listen. We're going to give you $106.90 from Hopeika, and I'll give you a table for 6 at Fat Cats Comedy Club. Davey's going to take care of you there. And Utica all-in-one food and fun card. This is a $25 gift card, good at any of these locations. At Babe's, at 72 Tavern and Grill, at Taylor and the Cook, or at the Adirondack Bank Center, any of the concession stands. Any concessions there.
That sounds great.
I love that change.
Yeah.
I love that we made that change.
I love that, too. So stand by. You walk away. It's almost as big as the Powerball. But
well, I won it winning.
You won it winning. You're absolutely right.
Don't mention Powerball. I didn't do so well.
No, none of us did here. Anybody in the state. So, all right, stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to John Zogby, who's standing by right now. John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Hi.
So I think that if we can sum it up from yesterday, you had reservations on the big wave. Historically, we'd be looking at a very big victory for the party not in power. And it probably is a big victory, but not nearly what everybody thought was going to happen.
What surprised me is how deep Republicans went into expanding expectations. They were spinning, right up until 6, 7 o'clock last night that they were going to have a huge victory. And frankly, I don't know where that came from. I never saw that coming. I was waiting and waiting and waiting, to see what direction we were going to head into, how things were going to break, and it never broke big. In any of the polling, and so I think it's probably further testimony to the fact that they were just talking to themselves, much like Democrats like to talk to themselves as well, and not seeing the bigger picture out there.
It's funny. I think when I asked you about the governor's race, while you wouldn't commit in making a pick, you did say, I just have a hard time seeing Kathy Hochul as a Democrat losing in New York. And I think you were right.
And the fact that the only two polls that were showing her, close, tied or ahead by just a couple of points, were Trafalgar and Insider Advantage, which are Republican, not only leaning polls, they're overtly Republican polls. And I felt that, in the coverage of those polls, that whichever media were covering them should have stipulated that that's who they are,
right,
and that's what their turnout model was.
How about 22 in the race between Brandon Williams and Knoll? Very close, and really too close to call at this point.
It is 50-50 is what's being posted. So Knoll doing better, say, than the first round of polling that had come out a few weeks earlier. But I think this is a tradition. Whatever shape recently our district takes, going back to Michael Arcuri days anyway, we've had a number of hotly contested races, both in what was our district and then also in Catco and the immediate predecessor, Democrat to Catco, whose name I can't remember. I'm picturing him. But this is it's ultimately a moderate district and generally closely fought between the two candidates.
It's funny. Many Democrats were conceding yesterday before the results even came in. I think Democrats were expecting the big tsunami that didn't end up happening. But one of the things that I heard is Democrats saying that they didn't listen. They didn't listen, and they didn't react quickly enough to the economy and inflation. What is the takeaway here for Joe Biden and Democrats?
It is for the Democrats to listen to Joe Biden. He's the only one out there among them that has a grasp on reality, and the only one out there who actually has a program to deal with those issues. Aside from Republicans raising their expectations too high, Democrats threw in the towel. And I never understood why they were doing that. As it turns out, abortion was a very big issue for the Democrats. They read this thing right. It gave them the margin either to be very competitive or to actually win some seats. In terms of inflation, Republicans, it allowed them to win, but Republicans had no follow-up on the issue of inflation because the obvious follow-up was, what are you going to do that's any better? And then they rely on tax cuts for the wealthy, more investment. We have a lot of investment. The economy is spinning an enormous number of jobs, and that's the way ultimately that you reduce the deficit. You reduce it by bringing in more tax money by having people go to work. I mean, that's one of the factors out there. Republicans mishandled the issue of inflation. Democrats threw in the towel too soon. It was just kind of stunning, frankly.
And finally, it will be it'll be a tough run for Biden in this next 2 years, as while the margin is not going to be as large as anybody expected, it's still going to be, he's going to have trouble in Congress. There's no doubt about that.
He is going to have trouble. Congress is going to have trouble. You're going to have a very, very conservative House that's going to go after Joe Biden, go after Hunter Biden, investigate, try to undo, and you're going to have Mitch McConnell, who's going to say, "Oh my God, what a monster we're dealing with on the other side of Congress," and you're probably going to see McConnell being photographed a whole lot more with Joe Biden two old men trying to salvage a government than you are McConnell and any approachment with Kevin McCarthy.
Interesting. John Zogby, always appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Good to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. John Zogby. They're all trying to call him here this morning to get his take.
Absolutely. I can't wait till the Hunter Biden collusion trial starts. I can't wait to watch that. I hope it's on primetime.
That might very well be coming. Got a break. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. We still don't know which party will control the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony. It's 48-48 so far after Democrats scored a big win, flipping what was a red seat blue.
We bet on the people of Pennsylvania, and you didn't let us down.
John Fetterman overcame a stroke and questions about his recovery to beat Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. Republican J.D. Vance won another close race.
Whether you voted for me or not, the thing that I promised to do is go to the United States Senate and fight every single day for the people of Ohio.
Vance defeated Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. 3 other races too close to call. Republicans lead in Nevada and Wisconsin. Democrats have the edge in Arizona, so it might again come down to Georgia. Fox's Gernal Scott in Atlanta says the race is likely headed to a runoff.
Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock said what others were thinking.
We always knew that this race would be close.
So close, another month is needed to decide things. Republican challenger Herschel Walker urged patience.
Just hang in there a little bit longer.
In the House, Fox has Republicans winning 200 seats so far, with 63 races not called yet. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik just told Fox,
"Let's wait until these races are called, but we will win the majority thanks to the American people."
A big winner in governor's races, Republican Ron DeSantis easily reelected.
Florida is where woke goes to die.
Republicans Greg Abbott in Texas and Brian Kemp in Georgia also reelected. So were some Democratic governors, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, Kathy Hochul in New York. Big layoffs at Facebook, the social media giant's parent company Meta cutting 11,000 jobs. And now a Brittany Griner update. The American basketball star has been moved in Russia to a penal colony.
Even Brittany Griner's legal team doesn't know her exact current whereabouts, nor have they been told her final destination. The White House has called her detention wrong and promises President Joe Biden will continue his attempts to persuade Russia to let her go.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Good morning. We have mostly clear skies, 26 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. Taking a look at some of last night's election results, Governor Kathy Hochul will be leading New York for 4 more years after defeating Republican challenger Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin. With the victory, Hochul makes history, becoming the first woman ever to be elected governor of the Empire State. In other statewide contests, both Attorney General Letitia James and State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli earned re-election, as did U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer. In the 22nd Congressional District, Republican Brandon Williams declaring victory as he faced off with Democrat Francis Knoll. Knoll has not yet conceded, pointing out that there are still thousands of affidavit and absentee ballots that need to be counted. The 22nd District encompasses all of Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties and a small portion of Oswego County. Two California sports betting initiatives did not pass yesterday. Proposition 26 would have allowed for sports gambling at 4 sanctioned racetracks in the state. and at tribal casinos, but only received 30% support. Another measure, which would have allowed Californians of legal age to place bets on sporting events online, also failed. That got just 16% support. Ukraine receiving its first shipment of surface-to-air missiles from the United States. The missile system is meant to be a major boost to Kiev in the war against Russia and part of a larger military aid package being sent from the U.S. Ukraine's defense minister said the weapons will significantly strengthen the Ukrainian army and help keep the country safe. One more note, Elon Musk selling 20 million shares of Tesla. This follows his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. We'll go now to Fox News Radio's Ryan Schmelz for an update on some of the election results nationwide as we shape out here.
Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. So just a little recap of what the rest of the country looks like here on the day after Election Day.
All right, you want to start in the House or the Senate?
Let's start with the House because I think we know a little more. The Senate seems to be up in the air right now, but as for the House.
Very much up in the air, yeah. So we still have 64 seats left in play in the House of Representatives. Democrats currently have 172 projected victories to Republicans 199. So Republicans are still expected to take back the House, but this margin does not look like it's going to be as much of a red wave as what was projected going into Election Day. Now, I think it'd be important to point out that one of the big victories for the Republicans would be maybe New York, for example. I had about I got them all in front of me right now. So I had 6 races that I was watching on election night, and Republicans have either won in those seats, are leading, or in one case, Democrats do still have the lead in a race of this 18th congressional race where Pat Ryan currently has the lead. But for the fact that we're looking at potentially Sean Patrick Maloney losing his seat to Mike Lawyer, that could be a big win for Republicans in the Empire State. Yeah,
considering he was in charge of getting those in the House Democrats reelected, and he himself does not get reelected. In the 22nd Congressional District, that includes ours in central New York and Syracuse, very close race. It's 50-50 right now. Brandon Williams and Francis Knoll, another very close one that early on in the race, no one thought was going to be close because the district skews blue.
No, and that's one of several races in New York that didn't really look like it was a race that the Republicans had a chance of winning. Now, we had this as a lean R going into Election Day, and Brandon Williams, ran a pretty strong campaign. It looks like, as of right now, I believe you just reported that he did declare victory, but Francis Knoll had not conceded just yet, correct?
Yeah, there are a lot of absentees that are still out there, and it's basically 50-50 at this point, so that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one other thing that's kind of interesting about Sean Patrick Maloney's struggles here is that one of the things we kind of learned from election night was the power of incumbency. And so I think it's kind of fascinating that a sitting member of House leadership in a year that was really favored towards incumbency is potentially losing his seat in a district that normally skews pretty blue. So that's pretty fascinating here.
In New York to beat, right? Over to the Senate. A much different situation over there.
Absolutely. So we still have 4 Senate seats that are left in play, and Republicans still have a chance of taking back the Senate, but losing Pennsylvania yesterday and that seat flipping definitely did not do Republicans any favors. So in order just to keep the Senate 50-50, Republicans are still going to have to hold Wisconsin, which Ron Johnson does have a slight lead in there right now, but then Republicans are going to have to flip either Nevada, Georgia, or Arizona. And right now, Adam Laxalt does have the lead in Nevada slightly, and Georgia could be going to a runoff. But Arizona, Blake Masters still has a significant amount of ground to make up. So even if they do get that Senate to 50-50, the vice president still has the tie-breaking vote. So Republicans are going to have to flip at least one more seat after that.
Yeah, it's funny, the 50-50, with Sinema and Manchin, though, you really wonder if that would. It's going to be a while, and if Georgia ends up being a runoff, we may not know who controls the Senate until December. So a lot still up in the air. Ryan, thank you for the time. We appreciate the update.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, thanks. Ryan Schmelz with Fox News. We'll break and come back. I have a bunch to get into here. Also, our legal segment through Fox News. 3 topics, and We go over each of them with a legal expert, and we'll do that coming up in a few. Also, we'll be hearing from the new county clerk, or newly elected county clerk, Mary Finnegan. We'll speak with her a little bit later on in the hour. It's 8:09 at WIBX.
Happy holidays.
Before you know it, the holidays will be here. Family and friends will be stopping by.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Carpeting provides warmth and comfort unlike any other flooring.
And now you get up to 30% off select carpeting at Sarah's.
Plus, Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
You want to shop where the selection is second to none, where the prices are the best, and where the service is great.
Get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% at Sarah's.
Sarah's Flooring Outlet, where a specialist will always take care of your project from start to finish.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
See why more people buy from the big store. In the Route 49 Plaza on River Road, Marcy, and online at insarasflooringoutlet.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Jovanone with Dental Arts. Our busy dental practice is currently looking to fill several full-time positions in our Utica office. We're seeking dedicated, experienced dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. We offer a competitive benefits package and the opportunity to elevate your career. Compensation is experience-based, but paid training is available. If you are reliable and enjoy working with people, we'd love to talk to you. We're seeking dedicated dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. Apply today on Facebook or at dentalarts.org. That's dentalarts.org. Dental Arts, we are looking for your help to create masterpieces, one smile at a time.
Mohawk Valley FCU is giving you even more reasons to become a member and save money with their early fuel loan program. If you use alternative heating such as propane, heating fuel, pellets, or wood, then Mohawk Valley FCU has your back. You can receive up to $2,000 subject to credit approval. Stock up now for the upcoming heating season and save with Mohawk Valley FCU. Just one of the many benefits Mohawk Valley FCU has to offer. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info. Mohawk Valley FCU, member focused, member driven.
Injury crash, 2-door, 4-door, SUV, motorcycle, big truck. At William Attar, we're New York's largest motor vehicle accident firm, helping those injured in New York State. If a crash caused the death of a loved one, call William Attar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, 315-444-4444.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They have been your hometown buyer for the last 49 years. Every gold and silver buyer claims to pay the highest prices, but the Potting Shed Antiques have been around for so long because they pay a fair and honest price. Let Don and Nancy take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. Open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Learn more online at thepottingshedantiques.com.
Hey, River Hills Properties remains the fastest growing real estate company in central New York. And why is that? It's because all of what they do. Consider my wife and I the typical couple. I know that might make you laugh, but yeah, we're the typical couple. And we were looking to sell our home and wanted someone to be there each time the house was shown. That's all we asked for. And we struggled finding a real estate agency that would do that. Ultimately, we ended up with Bill and Robin Moncho, and they not only would do that for us, but they do it for everybody. It's just how they work. It's the difference, one of the differences at River Hills Properties. Their listing agent will be there every time your house is shown. They get to know you and the house, the property, so that they can answer those important questions and help the process along. And right now, we probably need that more than ever, right? Then they create the book. Every property, it could be the smallest property out there, every property gets the book. And it's information about the home, about any improvements that were made, any warranties there are, all about the property. And the book is given to every prospective buyer. It might be 40 pages, it might be 100 pages, all depending on the size of the property. Everybody gets the book. It helps the potential buyer make the decision on whether or not to make an offer on the home. And then, if they do buy the house, the book becomes the manual for the home. Don't you wish you had a manual for your home? It's all part of the process. Everybody gets it if you sell your home with River Hills Properties. River Hills Properties, Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. If you're looking to sell or buy, reach out today. 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
8:15 and Wednesday morning. You know, there are this week, and we're going to have some photos for you later on today. This week, the Nexus Center opens up. Have we not been in the middle of, remember, this all started before COVID.
Nexus?
I mean, it was in the middle of COVID where they were trying to take the property down and build it. It was delayed during COVID, and now here we are. It's about to open. And I'm not sure we all have the concept in our heads as to what this is going to be.
Well, I do.
I do as well. It's
So
unbelievable. That place, from the outside, were you like me? How are they ever going to be able to fit 3 games in there at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do that. That place is not that big.
And the way it is laid out, the way I envisioned it versus the way it's laid out is different than I thought. Because I thought it would be stacked. I thought it would be like first floor, second floor, third floor.
I did too.
But
But how would you do that? You got to have it high enough where the ceiling doesn't impede the play of action, because they could play lacrosse, soccer, and hockey in there. And then you look inside, and we're going to have some photos later today and take a little bit of a tour. It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. And one of the coolest things is they've still got a lot of work to do, right? And we're already at Wednesday morning, and I think they're welcoming families and players Friday morning.
There is a tournament this weekend with 30-plus teams. That just gives you an idea. So now, with all these teams, you have 30 teams. In comes, mom and dad. Maybe the grandparents make the trip. They spend the whole weekend.
Yeah.
That means your hotels. We've been talking about this all year long, and we've been talking about it last year and the year before. This is what this is going to be. Restaurants will be busy because of this.
Wow.
I think this is going to be something.
Here's the thing, though, right? And this is not a complaint. This is just an FYI, and I think it's worth discussing. You're going to have more traffic downtown and on the boulevard there, Oriskany Street. And then you're going to have more restaurants full, and you might have a little wait sometimes. And again, these are the same people who say, and I don't like to wait, but these are the same people who say, Johnny and Susie had to move away because there was no opportunity for them here in Utica, New York.
Now there's opportunity.
Now there's 3 cars at the stoplight, and everybody's freaking out.
Well, it's something we're going to have to deal with, I'm afraid. And, then next year the hospital opens up. So there's a lot of stuff happening down there. And I think that between that and Marcy, what's happening in Marcy and in Syracuse and all of this, at the very least, we've placed ourselves in a position where we could grow. We can grow. Now we just got to take advantage of that. I mentioned last night, yesterday, craziest thing, the night before, they were unable to do the Powerball drawing. So they held it off till about 10 o'clock yesterday, and the Powerball actually was drawn yesterday. And sure enough, they get a winner. One winner in California sold at a place called Joe's Service Center. Joe's Service Center gets $1 million for selling the ticket, which is unbelievable.
I think there was something lost in translation where Joe thinks he's getting $1 billion.
They might,
because he's promising it to everybody.
It's funny because they were, they have the sign say, all you need is $1 and you could win millions. And everybody was going around changing over the last few weeks, changing the M to a B because you could win billions. And the actual after-tax lump sum is almost $1 billion.
I still can't believe it's not $1 billion, that they take more than 50%.
Yeah, yep. We've started watching a series on, this would be Showtime, and it's about Phil Spector. Very interesting. This would have made for a great trivia question this morning. But, and I'm going to try to bring this up the best that I can. There's a song out there called To Know Him Is to Love Him. And it was from 58. To know him is to, I'm trying to bring it up, love him. And I believe it was done by the Teddy Bears. So that was Phil Spector. And Phil Spector it was the Teddy Bears. And Phil Spector went to high school with this girl and loved her voice. And ultimately, they performed the song, went on to become really, really big. Obviously, what Phil Spector went on to do. Here's a little piece of the song here.
Just to see him smile makes my life worthwhile. To know him is to love.
Sorry, I played too much of it. Okay, so enough of that. Anyway, that's Phil Spector on guitar there. Phil Spector goes on to do his big thing, ends up getting into this murderous situation at his home. Dies in prison. Okay, so the woman who sings that song, I believe her name is Sandy Nelson. No, Carol Connors. Carol Connors is the singer that is singing To Know Him Is to Love Him. And she went on from that point. Phil Spector went on to do his thing. What famous movie song did she write? And actually, I think the song may have won a Grammy. So her name is Carol Connors. The question would be, what famous movie song did the woman who sang right there To Know Him Is to Love Him, what famous movie song did she write?
Not Bodyguard, Whitney Houston, right?
No, not that one.
Well,
not
you needed
one.
a guess. That was my guess.
Okay, are you ready? It was...
Stop.
Yeah, she wrote the Rocky theme. She co-wrote the Rocky theme. Yeah. He just loved Rocky. And to know him was to love him. And, yeah.
Just to see Rocky smile makes my life worthwhile.
There you go.
This song has no words. What did she write? She just did the music?
She wrote the music to the song.
Okay. Well, I thought it was going to be something singing. We were talking about her voice.
Well, there is singing in the Rocky theme.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna fly now. Yeah. I mean, she wrote that part, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was quite interesting. If you get a chance to check out the Phil Spector, I believe it's a series, a limited series, so there may be 4 or 5, 6 episodes. It is interesting and well worth watching. And that guy became crazy as a hoot owl.
And he looks like an alien with a wig over his outer space helmet.
I believe he's proof that if you are weird-looking, ugly, by standards of today, that a jury will not necessarily like you. And it makes your attorney's job much more difficult to get you off a murder rap. Because he just did not look normal.
Wasn't he found
likable? He did not look likable. No, he went to prison.
But he wasn't found not guilty once on something else?
I don't know.
It was like that?
I
thought it was a second trial. I don't
know. Anyway, that's on Showtime. If you have that streaming service or have it with your cable subscription. Mary Finnegan, one of the results from yesterday, big victory, right? Came out with, what was the final tally?
70-30, give or take, a percentage or two?
Oneida County Clerk. And Mary's on the line right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's this is a lot better feeling, I guess, than on a day after Election Day than the alternative, right? I mean, 70-30 is pretty good.
Yes, thank you so much. And at the end of the tally, I think it was even more significant than that. So can't thank my supporters enough, and the voters of Oneida County. Thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know.
So when will you be closing the Rome DMV? When will that happen?
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's very interesting how this race went and became so contentious. And you kind of stayed. You did, I think, everything you could to stay above the fray.
Yes, I absolutely did. It's so gratifying to know that the voters were smart enough to know that, her law degree in no way made her more qualified than myself. I do all the things that the Oneida County Clerk currently does, and the voters realized that, and they knew that. And, when she couldn't beat me, talking about the fact that she was a lawyer and all the experience she didn't have, she took the attack out on, the county executive. Sometimes I wondered if she was running against him or me.
Yeah. Well, I think that, there can, I'm sure Tony Piceni has his foes out there, but the fact is when push comes to shove, he has a great deal of, a lot of supporters. And I think that your opponent ended up in a situation where she was running against the legislature, Tony Piceni, and you, and that is a difficult task, I would say. So your plans going forward for those that voted for you and those that didn't vote for you, the plan is you want to modernize the DMV and really modernize the county clerk's office. What does that entail?
Yeah, so that's going to entail quite a bit. First of all, I've mentioned it before, the Cumatic system needs to be upgraded. That's the system that DMV currently uses, and it's antiquated. So I think that will make a huge difference. And again, I guess you need to get in there and evaluate, but there's no question that modernizing is at the forefront of how we move forward.
And again, all of this talk about the Rome DMV, obviously for the people of Rome, it's important to keep that DMV open and operating on a regular schedule.
100%, as is it with the town of Lee and Camden and all those other towns that it serves. So absolutely, it needs to stay open, and it will stay open.
All right,
no question.
All right, Mary Finnegan, congratulations on your victory last night.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to my supporters. You guys are all unbelievable. I cannot thank you enough.
And that was Wayne Levy, by the way, in your commercials, right?
Yes, that was Wayne Levy, who is just a wonderful person and a great supporter of mine, and he's an awesome guy. So yes, that is Wayne Levy.
I've heard he's pretty good at golf. I've heard that.
Yeah, he had a pretty good go.
Yeah. All right, great stuff, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
All right. Wayne Levy is, and I believe he has a kid who's quite an amazing golfer as well. But what an amazing career he had in the PGA. Pretty wild. Father Sean O'Brien, we've not heard from him in a while, and he's on the line right now. Father, good morning.
Hello there, Bill. No, it's me. I'm just teasing.
Oh, I thought Davey had done it to me again.
I was listening the other day when he rang and said it was the mayor of Utica.
Yeah,
and kind of threw you off. So I thought I'd just have a little fun this morning.
Well, that's awesome. Good. How are you, Father?
I'm doing very well. It's beautiful out. I'm headed north. I'm listening to the best radio station and morning radio personality we have in the area, and I thought I'd call and say hello.
Oh, well, what do you got on?
I wish you'd turn it back over to us, would you? It'd be nice if you...
The caveman in the morning.
That's right. All right. Well, listen, we got to get you here in studio, and we're coming up, election is over, and this is it's a busy time for you as we head into the holidays.
It's a busy time for everybody. We've got Thanksgiving coming. We've got Hanukkah coming. We've got Christmas coming. A busy time. I'd be happy to come in sometime and have a coffee with you and Jeff.
We will have the coffee ready. You let us know when that is, and we will see you here in studio.
All right. God bless and keep up the good work, the both of you.
Thanks you so much. Father Sean O'Brien. Great to hear from Sean. Good man. It's 8:28. We'll break. Quick news update coming up. Also, legalese. Are we doing? Who's our legal expert this morning?
Attorney Andrew Reed.
Okay,
he's been on the last couple of times.
You're right, Davey. You're absolutely right. He'll tackle a couple of legal issues here this morning. We'll get into 8:28 at WIBX.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Just come to Seneca and Valley Valley, best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. Our 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
It's here! Seneca and Valley's annual Thanksgiving wine sale. All wine cases are 20% off. Mix and match. Gobble up the savings with Josh Cabernet, just $11.99 a bottle. Apothic Red is a super buy at just $8.99. Cupcake, all regular type wines are just $7.99. Only $4.99 after mail-in rebate. Take it easy this holiday season with Relax Riesling, just $8.79 for the 750 milliliter bottle. And our staff favorite, Bogle Chardonnay, is now just $8.79. We are excited to debut our 24 mini bottle wine advent gift set. Available while supplies last. Hurry, sale ends Thanksgiving Day. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer.
Get a smile for all seasons at Schulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry.
I'm Andrew Rosansky, inviting you to call us for crowns and veneers that will give you a beautiful smile that will keep you smiling year-round. Call us today.
Get a smile for all seasons at Schulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Okay, smile naturally. Perfect.
Cam's Photography knows wedding season ramps up in a flash. They need to say I do to a studio assistant before clients go full bridezilla.
I'm so sorry. I have to get a different lens. I'll be right back.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I don't know if you had a chance to see Ricky Z the other night at the Stanley Theater and all the amazing musicians and their Billy Joel tribute. Rick is incredible. And Mazda, he's at Steve Ponte Mazda, continuing to win awards for performance, safety, and reliability with an increasing loyal following of drivers enjoying Mazda's incredible engineering. Mazda's premium design, fit, and finish, paint process, all extraordinary, while Mazda's premium interior redefines luxury. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a Mazda. See why it's always easy to do business with the family-owned and operated Steve Ponte Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Good morning. We have mostly clear skies. It will be sunny and near 60 coming up later today, but a chilly start this morning. We are at 27 degrees. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Kathy Hochul will be leading New York State for the next 4 years after she defeated Republican challenger and Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin. With the victory, Hochul becomes the first female ever elected governor of the state of New York. She was lieutenant governor last year before taking over for ex-governor Andrew Cuomo, who resigned in disgrace. In other statewide contests, both Attorney General Letitia James and State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli earned re-election, as did Senator Chuck Schumer. Here in the 22nd Congressional District, Republican Brandon Williams declaring victory in the race to represent Central New York. Williams said overnight that he believed he had secured enough votes to defeat Democrat Francis Knoll. Knoll not conceding yet. He points out there are still thousands of affidavit and absentee ballots that need to be counted. The 22nd District covers all of Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties and a small portion of Oswego County. Well, control of the U.S. Senate may hang in the balance until next month. The U.S. Senate race in Georgia between Democrat incumbent Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker is still too close to call. A December 6th runoff could be needed if neither candidate surpasses the 50% threshold. Ukraine receiving its first shipment of surface-to-air missiles from the U.S. The missile systems are meant to be a major boost to Kiev in the war against Russia and are part of a larger military aid package being sent from the U.S. Ukraine's defense minister said the weapons will significantly strengthen the Ukrainian army and help keep that country safe. Elon Musk selling 20 million shares of Tesla. The shares are valued at about $4 billion. The sale comes after his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. A former UFC star facing a murder charge is now out on bail. Cain Velasquez was arrested in San Jose last February. He's accused of trying to kill a man who allegedly molested his young child. Velasquez's trial is scheduled to start next year.
Big thing that happens when terrible things like that happen the first thing police do is they warn the parent, usually the father, to be very careful because that sort of thing can happen.
He's a heavyweight in UFC, or was in UFC. I don't know that he is anymore. So obviously he's a very skilled MMA fighter.
Oh, well, that's what I'd say. Oh, well. You touched my kid.
Right? And allegedly the guy who raped his child has been free while he's been in jail. So I know that's a big controversial story, especially out in California. Anyway, your Weather Center forecast. Calling for things to warm up today, much warmer than we are seeing right now. Mostly sunny skies for this afternoon, a high of 58 degrees. Clear tonight, a low of 35. Sunny again Thursday with a high of 65. Friday, we have clouds and rain in the forecast, but a high just shy of 70. Saturday, rain showers early in the day, a high of 60 degrees. Right now, it is clear and, 26 degrees right now? 26.
Andrew Reed is an attorney, legal expert, on the line right now with Fox News. And, Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to throw some issues out at you, and you give us your take from a legal perspective. Topic number one, Lee Zeldin supporter attacked and choked at a Kathy Hochul event. Speaks out. He says you can't even have debates anymore without things getting violent. What's the story here, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so there was a video showing partially what happened, so we don't know the full story here, but from what we've seen, the lady in question, she was holding a sign supporting the GOP candidate for governor there in New York, and she was at the Democratic candidate's rally, and she was attacked. Her sign was stolen, and then there was some arms being thrown around. She said she was being choked. That's the part of the video that currently I have not seen that video.
Yeah.
It's supposedly out there. I was not able to find that portion, but so don't know for sure on that. But in any case, the police did decline to send it for prosecution from the reports I've seen. So this one, it's one they basically said it looks like there was just a little dispute. They said it's not that big of a deal. People walk away from it.
A supporter says that even a New York City council member, Crystal Hudson, grabbed her by the arm. It's like, I feel like I'm not sure that would warrant an assault charge either, right?
Is this the one that happened just like 2 days ago?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, that woman was clearly being choked by a man. Clearly.
By a guy. Yeah.
There's no question. I can't believe they're not prosecuting
It's
this.
like wearing a Bills jersey to a Jets game. Don't do it. There was a bit on that on Saturday Night Live over the weekend. People are nuts, though, when it comes to their team or their candidate. It's just ridiculous. It's like all of a sudden they lose themselves, Andrew.
There is definitely some, I guess, angst among certain people right now, for sure.
Yeah.
I just...
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
I just don't. I'm kind of baffled as to how. Now, I'm certainly not advocating for this, and I think it's disgusting. But if you're in a domestic dispute and you put your hand on the other person's neck, it is strangulation, and you go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're at a campaign rally and clearly a man chokes a woman, they call it freedom of speech. Is that what that is?
I'm assuming in this case, Andrew, police were not there to see exactly what happened, and it becomes a he said, she said.
Correct. It becomes a he said, she said, and like I said, there's not 100% clear video. There have been some videos that have come out, but it's not necessarily clear from those videos was it truly a choke or from the reports I've seen. The police said they just weren't sure. From what they could see, they just go, there's not enough information that they can be able to tell for sure what was going on. And it's one of those better safe than sorry. They don't want to accuse something of something that didn't actually happen.
And this happened in New York. Let's be honest. With the bail reform in New York, they can, arrest the guy all they want. They're just going to let him out anyway. So I think police are like, what are we going to do here? Topic two, Vladimir Putin's private army facing legal action accused of Ukraine war crimes. We have evidence of this?
So there's a group out of the UK, a law firm that has gone before the UK Parliament, said that they have presented some evidence there. And they are making efforts to start taking actions anyway and anywhere they can from what the reports are saying. So they are they believe that there were war crimes committed by this organization that's connected to Putin and the Russian government. So they're looking to take actions on the behalf of some Ukrainians and Ukrainian refugees.
Interesting. Where do we go? I mean, we've heard a lot about war crimes. Obviously, we've Nuremberg trials. We've seen this sort of thing end up in worldwide courtrooms. But we've also, over the years, heard a lot about war crimes, and nothing ever comes of it. What do you think here?
It's one, without seeing or knowing any of the evidence, it's going to be hard to tell where this will go. They claim that they have enough evidence, and they have certain recordings, certain transcripts, certain reports and communications that were sent that they think rise to that level. So that's what they have presented to the UK Parliament, according to the report and press release that I saw from them. And they also went ahead and they're also advocating that there also be legislative action. So they're asking the UK Parliament to step in and take certain actions because they believe in some cases the court system may take too long. Yeah. And that could be one interesting little nuance here. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah. And third topic, a physician group in Texas, obviously the issue of women's health, reproductive health, and abortion is a big issue in Texas. And there's a report that physicians have been waiting on, a long-awaited report on pregnancy-related deaths. And this medical group is actually suing for that report. What do we know about this one?
They are threatening to sue. They haven't sued yet, from my understanding from the reports. But they basically, this is a report that comes out regularly, and they say this is information they need. From my understanding from the reporting and the other stories that have come out about this, they are looking at it in terms of this report gives some of the issues and complications that may have occurred so that doctors can know better what to be watching for and what could be issues that if they see them, they need to take more action or monitor more closely.
Yep.
So they're wanting these reports to take care of the mothers and the children that are out there.
All right. Interesting stuff. We appreciate it, Andrew, the updates, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.
You too.
All right. Andrew Reed with Fox News. How about this story? An 18-year-old leaving a Boston Celtics game at the TD Garden saw an unconscious man drowning in the Charles River, and after the game was able to get him out of the water and save his life. Did you see that?
No, that's insane.
Here's Finn Connor and his dad, Ryan, talking about what happened during the amazing rescue. Here we go.
I didn't hear the call out. Finn sort of looked at me funny and then ran.
And I run down the bank, get in the water, and try to get out to them. They're maybe 5 or 10 feet offshore. So I get out there, I grab his arm like this, and I'm trying to support him from on his back, and I sort of, carry and pick him up towards the shores.
The guy had one ear that looked partially ripped off, and he was bleeding from the other ear, and he had a softball-sized welt starting to develop on his forehead.
Oh, boy. And he was drowning. Man, that's a bad night.
Yeah, do they know what happened?
I don't know. No.
He got attacked by Mike Tyson, apparently?
It might be, but his ear
in the river?
But the guy saved his life. And we mentioned the former guitar player and fiddle player for the band Alabama passed away. Didn't realize it, but he had a long battle with Parkinson's disease. He died, they say, peacefully in his home in Destin, Florida. He was 73 years old. He was their guitarist and fiddle player. Here's a clip from last year when the band performed a song called Jeff's Song, a song they were doing in his honor. Here we go.
This is called Jeff's Song. This is for Jeff Cook. You were the best with that guitar in your hand.
Kind of an ambient recording. I can't really hear it, but it's very nice. Very sad that he passed away at the age of 73. You wonder how good he was on the violin, on the fiddle, as they say in country music. Here's Jeff Cook playing away and really tearing through a fiddle solo at Farm Aid back in 1986. For those who know fiddle, that's impressive. I don't really know fiddle, but
for the rest of us, just tap your foot.
Is impressive. In studio right now is Heather with the Utica Food Pantry. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
Pull that mic nice and close. You almost have to touch it. I know in this day of COVID, nobody likes to do that. Okay, let's talk about this is the 10th annual turkey giveaway you're doing?
Yes.
All right, talk about this.
Okay, so we have our turkey giveaway is November 18th. It starts at 10 o'clock, and it's a walk-up and drive-up turkey giveaway.
Okay. So this is people that have...
These are for people who really need food.
All right.
And I would like to just say one thing, too. We really need the community's help still on getting turkeys.
How close are you guys?
We probably need about 300 more turkeys.
Wow,
The
okay.
cost of turkeys have gone up
Yeah.
more than double right now.
Has it really been? I mean, everything has gone up. It's terrible. But turkeys, especially as we're heading towards Thanksgiving, they've gone up. I didn't realize it was double.
And because of the community, we've been able to do this. This is our 10th one.
Yeah.
And moving forward, we really, and I hate stressing it, need help with monetary donations right now to get us through this.
So as opposed to people going out and buying turkeys and dropping them off, the best thing to do would be to give the money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much does it cost to, on your average turkey that you're buying, what are you looking for?
$1.99 a pound.
Okay.
15, 16-pound turkeys.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I would imagine...
So you're talking $30 easily.
Normally, we would get a bulk pricing. They're not doing it this year.
They're not.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would imagine with everything that's gone on, you're actually serving more. In addition to having to pay more for the turkeys that you would have bought last year, or the families that you're trying to feed from last year, you have a lot more families coming forward because of what's going on.
Absolutely. Just to give you a quick idea, we generally do like around 2,000 pounds of food a month. We're hitting 5,000.
Oh my goodness!
And that's a lot of food. And we are seeing people that are coming in that are working families who just need enough food to get them through the month. People who are getting benefits, however, cannot afford to get through.
Yeah.
So that's why when we say we need these donations right now, it's because we need to be able to keep providing the food that we're providing for them.
And there's always that line, right? There's the cutoff line. It's like, well, I can't get services because I just over the threshold. And it's those people that oftentimes are struggling the most. Is there do you have to show finances or anything like that with you guys?
No, you don't. We just need an ID. We
Okay.
trust you when you come in, and we go from there. We don't turn down anybody.
All right.
What's the best way to make a donation? How do you go somewhere? Do you mail a check?
Yeah, so one of the best ways is at our website at uticafoodpantry.org. You can go right on there and make a monetary donation, or you can send it to our P.O. Box, 306, Utica, New York, 13503.
Okay.
But I just want to tell you one thing. As a child that grew up in low income and had to go to food pantries, I can't tell you what it meant for me to be able to get food and to be able to give back to this community is something very impactful to me. So being able to help these people when they come in, moms who are crying, we really just need the support right now.
So you, as a child, you
Yeah, I grew up with a single father. We had to go to food pantries, and growing up, my one thing was, how do I give back to the community? This was a way. So I understand these families when they come in. I see what they're going through. I hear it, and it's a little overwhelming and sad to see.
The sad part of this is we pay a great deal of attention to this problem at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a long winter.
Absolutely.
For a lot of people.
And we've been stocking the shelves. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to give healthy choice of food for people. We've been doing fresh produce, if not frozen produce, and trying to just stock the shelf with canned goods right now.
All right.
And again, it's the 10th annual turkey giveaway, November 18th.
Yep.
And is that the main?
It's at the main firehouse on Bleecker Street.
Okay.
And it's there till the turkeys are gone.
All right.
So we, the Irish Culture Culture Center gave us 500 pounds of potatoes, and Hannaford has been great to us as well. So.
All right. We'll go to the website. Best way to give money is just go to the site, and you can do it right there.
Yep.
Okay. Good stuff. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
8:47. We'll wrap up this day after Election Day next on WIBX.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for free estimate.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
Herkimer County has its feet in the Mohawk Valley and head in the Adirondack Mountains. For a spectacular fall tour, drive north from West Winfield or Richfield Springs through the Mohawk River communities of Herkimer and Little Falls to Dolgeville and Middleville. You will see more and more colors on the country roads around Newport and Poland, topping off with Old Forge in the Adirondacks. New York's tallest county is built for your autumn tour. Herkimer County, I love New York.
William Mattar, for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Mattar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, I want to tell you about Adirondack Bank and the mortgage of your dreams. Maybe it's the home of your dreams, which is supported by the mortgage of your needs, specifically tailored to your needs. That's Adirondack Bank. It's a local bank making local decisions. Whether it's your first home or a refinance, they have the product that will suit your needs. Their team of professional and dedicated staff can help you choose the product that's right for you. Fixed convention mortgages, construction, FHA, VA, second home, vacation home, investment property, camp financing programs, USDA rural housing loans, all there, whatever is best for you. So whether you're selling to downsize or find something a little bit nicer or a little bigger, whatever your situation is, the mortgage is perfectly designed to suit your needs. Call today, Adirondack Bank. Begin your ADK experience online at adkbank.com. Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Jovanon with Dental Arts. Our busy dental practice is currently looking to fill several full-time positions in our Utica office. We're seeking dedicated, experienced dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. We offer a competitive benefits package and the opportunity to elevate your career. Compensation is experience-based, but paid training is available. If you are reliable and enjoy working with people, we'd love to talk to you. We're seeking dedicated dental assistants to join our fun, hardworking team. Apply today on Facebook or at dentalarts.org. That's dentalarts.org. Dental Arts, we are looking for your help to create masterpieces, one smile at a time.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All righty, it's 8:53, and you know what? Father Sean back on the phone line here, driving out there this morning. Father Sean, great to have you back on. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Bill.
See, now this is not Father Sean, although he has a pretty good impression of you. Father Sean does, I have to say, Stephen.
Yes, he does. I voted yesterday, Bill.
You did. So you remember wasn't there a time that we had you vote? It was one of your first time voting, the first time you had voted, and we were talking to you, and you were talking a little loudly. Do you remember that?
Yes, I sure do.
And then what happened? Do you remember what happened?
And then they kicked me out of the voting booth.
They did, and didn't let him vote. They didn't give him an affidavit or anything. No, they just kicked him out.
All right, what did you have Stefan say that got him kicked out?
Well, he might have been yelling out candidates' names and that sort of thing. What were you doing back then?
I think I may have been saying who's on the ballot and who I'm voting for, things like that.
I do think you were like, hell no, I'm not voting for Hillary. Something like that it was. So, well, they booted you right out, though. That was terrible.
Well, yesterday I crossed party lines and I voted for Zeldin for governor.
You did.
Because I think it was time for a change.
Okay.
And I think that New York needs to get safer.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, you are out on the streets, so you see this sort of thing, right? It's a little.
Yes,
it's a little rough out there.
Also, I stopped into sheriff candidate Jim Charchilli's watch party.
Oh, you did? Yeah. How was that?
That was interesting to check that out.
Yeah.
And
how was the food? How was the food? That's always a good question.
Well, I had a piece of cake, and
Nice. Okay.
I didn't have that much food.
All right.
I just had a piece of cake, and I had a soda, and I just checked out the atmosphere, and then went on my way.
All right.
So, I mean, you don't want to be piggish, right? I mean, you only voted for him once. It's not like you could vote twice. So you don't want to go up there too many times.
Did you vote for him?
Oh, no, I did not. I voted for Maceo.
Stefan, this is why you get thrown out of places.
That is awesome. That is so funny. Well, listen.
Did you keep that close to your vest, or did you tell everybody that you didn't vote for him?
No, I didn't say a word.
Smart. That's smart.
I just was
had some cake.
A fly on the wall.
Nice.
With some cake on your lip.
All right. Well, listen, Stefan, it's nice to get a different perspective, right? I mean, anybody could go to the party where they all won and everybody's celebrating. Let's go to the one where, the results aren't all that good. Let's see what it's like on the other side.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I'll bet it was. All right, well, it's good to hear from you. Father Stefan Rubitsky, thank you.
God bless.
Okay. That's funny, Stefan. All right, you have a nice day. Thank you, man.
Bye, Bill.
Goodbye now. By the way, Stefan, we will do our lunch. We'll try to do it on Friday. With hurricane, this is from Richard, with the hurricane hitting Florida tonight and tomorrow. Are you watching this thing? What is it? Nicole.
I think she's seeking her second term in Florida.
Is going to, you think, is going to hit probably as a category 1, but it's going to make its way not up the coastline. It's going to come inland and go up the coast, and we're going to get nailed this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to mean a lot of rain. Richard's saying here we have a major nor'easter rainstorm coming Friday all day into Friday night and Saturday morning. Expect, and I saw this when you look at the radar and the map, the projections of where the storm is going to go. Expect 2 to 5 inches of rain.
Oh, my
now,
basement.
you realize what 2 to 5 inches of rain would be equivalent to in snow? Probably 30 feet. I don't think it's that much, but it's a lot of rain. You're talking feet of snow if we were getting snow. So 2 to 5 inches is a lot, and if you have basement issues with flooding in the springtime, you may want to prepare yourself. Make sure your sump pump 1 and sump pump 2 are both working, because it could be a rough weekend. A lot of rain.
We said it'll warm up, but I guess I didn't realize that we were in that much danger to get that much water from this storm.
It's going to be a biggie. So, all right, listen, that's it for us. We'll have more details. And tomorrow and even tonight, you'll be able to see a little bit better of where this storm is going. But it looks like it will be directly coming over upstate New York. We'll be getting the remnants of that. It could mean a lot of rain. We'll keep you posted as the week goes on. Back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your day.
Happy holidays.
Before you know it, the holidays will be here. Family and friends will be stopping by.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Carpeting provides warmth and comfort unlike any other flooring.
And now you get up to 30% off select carpeting at Sarah's.
Plus, Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
You want to shop where the selection is second to none, where the prices are the best, and where the service is great.
Get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% at Sarah's.
Sarah's Flooring Outlet, where a specialist will always take care of your project from start to finish.
Let Sarah's Flooring Outlet get your home ready for the holidays and save up to 30% on select carpet.
Sarah's will have your new flooring ready for the holidays.
See why more people buy from the big store. In the Route 49 Plaza on River Road, Marcy, and online at insarasflooringoutlet.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
This is a Fox News alert. It's not a wave, but Republicans are seeing red. I'm Dave Anthony.
We feel confident that we're going to win the House, and we will fire Nancy Pelosi, and there will be a Republican majority.
That's what Congresswoman Elise Stefanik just told Fox. So far, Republicans have won 200 House seats and need 18 more out of the 6 called yet. Senate control still up in the air. Democrats did score a big win in Pennsylvania.
I'm just so proud of the race that we ran.
John Fetterman overcame concerns about his recovery from a stroke and beat Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. Each party has 48 seats now, with 4 races too close to call. GOP Senator Ron Johnson has a small lead in Wisconsin. Democratic Senator Mark Kelly has an edge in Arizona, as they still count votes there. And in Nevada,
Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto telling supporters in Las Vegas,
I am confident in the campaign that we have built to win.
Still in a tight race to defend her seat against Republican challenger Adam Laxalt.
We have a lot of our votes coming in all across the state yet to be tabulated. We are going to win this race.
Well, that was a report from Fox's Kristen Goodwin. In Georgia, Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker's race so close it's likely headed to a runoff next month. Abortion was a big issue for Democratic voters after the Supreme Court ruling. It was on the ballot in some states. Voters in Michigan and California approved putting a right to abortions in the state constitutions. In Kentucky, voters rejected specifying in their constitution that there is no right to abortions. Facebook workers aren't liking this. Mass layoffs at the parent company Meta, cutting 11,000 jobs.
In a message today to employees, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said Meta's shifting more resources onto a smaller number of high-priority growth areas. The Wall Street Journal reported Zuckerberg told hundreds of executives it was his over-optimism about growth that led to the overstaffing.
America's listening to Fox News.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month, the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall, well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov.
We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Mohawk Valley FCU is giving you even more reasons to become a member and save money with their early fuel loan program. If you use alternative heating such as propane, heating fuel, pellets, or wood, then Mohawk Valley FCU has your back. You can receive up to $2,000 subject to credit approval. Stock up now for the upcoming heating season and save with Mohawk Valley FCU. Just one of the many benefits Mohawk Valley FCU has to offer. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info. Mohawk Valley FCU, member focused, member driven.
If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamp decks from the big box stores. Come see Warner Sales and Service, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Check out the Hustler line of mowers at Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, or at WarnerSS.com. That's WarnerSS.com. Warner Sales and Service, where quality still counts.
Warner Sales and Service. Building relationships, building trust. Warner Sales and Service. Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.